What are we talking about? Come on, man. 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 How many push-ups you want to do here, pal? Oh, come on, man. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. What is he doing? Come on, man. Give me a little break here. But everybody knows who this guy is. Come on, man. Come on. Come on, man. Get a life.
Come on, son.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Come on, man. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. You're making money. Come on. I mean, come on, man. Come on.
Don't do drugs. If you're doing it, stop it. Get some help.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Critically Drinking. Today, we intend to do a Come On Man segment, but, the good gentlemen are not here as of yet. So for that, we definitely got to get a good...
I mean, come on, man. Come on.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Y'all know what time we start, but we'll see if they are coming through today. We got some Bree eyeballs in the chat. Appreciate you. And I know StreamYard is a little slow. StreamYard is a little slow. We got Truth. There we go. What up, big homie? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for coming through. Today, what we are going to be talking about, or the intention is to talk about men and how they experience and express love. That's the intention. I had questions prepared. For whatever reason, I did not put them in as banners as I intended. I got sidetracked and did not do my part. So that's a come on man on me. But if the gentlemen show up, we'll have that conversation. If not, I am going to start looking for a pivot just in case. So, because asking myself questions is, I don't know. It feels a little weird. Y'all know I don't like talking to myself. Well, if you don't know, I don't like talking to myself. Bam. There goes one. One down. Bloop. What up, Yellow?
What's good, Brody?
Glad you can make it. We are going to be... Hey, listen. Hey, Truth, I always say, man. My ideas are free. Like, my ideas are free. I do not claim credit. These are definitely just some topics that I think are necessary. I got you, Truth. I got you. We will probably be dropping a link at some point. But I definitely wanted to have the conversation with the men. I do want to I don't even know how to say this. I do want to have the conversation as what's hard. I'll say, here's the hard part with men. It's hard for us to be vulnerable. It's hard for us to express certain things. So that's why I find this particular topic difficult. And the second part is, a lot of times we don't discuss feelings. We don't discuss emotion a lot. So we don't have a lot of good practice in language around it. So, it may be difficult. And yeah, good to see you. Was just wondering where you've been. Hope everything's okay. Go ahead and alert. Appreciate you. But that's the plan today. That's the plan. So, if Mandrell does show up, otherwise it'll be me and Yella kicking it for a minute, and then we will drop the link for any other men that want to chime in. I know Truth said he wants to tap in, but if anybody and everybody in the chat can go ahead and participate as well from the chat. If you got to lurk, I understand. If you got to work, not tripping. It's school, not even a problem. But any way that you can, please participate in the conversation, whether it's asking a question, providing feedback, offering a challenge. I like the challenge. And I try to take it in a respectful way. I try to address it, not get in my ego. I try my best. But our first question, I'm not sure why I did not buy. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Okay, I think I do know what happened. I got sidetracked. I was watching something and it put me in a different emotional space. That's what happened. Then I kind of got out of it. But when Yellow returns, the first question I'm going to ask, let me go ahead and put this in the banner. Let me quit being lazy.
I was saying, I'm here. Calm down for a second.
Give me a second. Ninja name. I still got to clip that. All right. So.
Jermaine.
Just typing this into a banner. So it can be shown on the screen. Okay, so, and I'll be typing these up as I go because I have them in notes. I guess I could copy paste. That was silly. I'm a little scatterbrained today, y'all. Please forgive me. Bam. So, dang, I almost called you nephew. I'm really tripping. What ways do men experience love that you believe people misunderstand? That's a question for Yellow.
What ways do men experience love that people misunderstand?
And I'll say why I asked that while you're thinking about that.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Because why I say that, I've seen through these conversations, I've seen through all of these panels over the last year. It could be the train explosion chemicals. Maybe I am chemicalized. Because see, what I found out through these panels is that men do have love. Men do have emotions, but they're not recognized a lot of times. Like real time. When people are having discussions, even from the guys themselves that are having an emotion, they're having an emotional reaction. They're unaware. Everybody else will be like, okay, calm down, or it's not that serious. And they'll be like, no, you're experiencing emotion, and it's okay. It's like we do experience emotion. And the same thing with love. Like there are things that we care about deeply that when we lose them, we feel it. It impacts the way we live, the way we move, the way we think. So even the way we can't think, we're almost, so it can shut us down. We experience heartbreak too. So we know we experience love. However we experience it, we do experience it. But other people don't seem to give us that room, the benefit of that doubt, that grace to believe, y'all don't have feelings. Y'all stoic. Y'all cold, heartless, all the different. I've heard so many of those. I've heard I'm cold, I'm heartless, I'm a monster. I've heard a lot of that. But I have deep love, and one of the reasons I guess I present a flat affect. I present kind of flat is to prevent, to prevent the vulnerability. Because I do care. I care deeply. So hearing that, what are some ways that you think men do experience love that you believe people misunderstand? You muted.
Okay, so you mean like how we receive love that people might look at crazy that we feel like we need almost?
Receive it or give it. Because I'll go ahead and start so you can follow. I'll say men have in the love languages, that we talked about, the love or affection languages. I believe men need physical touch too. We need hugs.
Oh, okay.
I may not want to hold hands, or it may be we need, some of us like gifts. Some of us like acts of service. Some of us want to hear those words of affirmation too. We experience love. And sometimes a lot of us, I'll say, especially in this dating relationship space, a lot of times the love of provision is taken for granted. There's a lot of love in the duty that a man will take on to provide, through his entire life to sacrifice and do things that he would not otherwise want to do for people he would not want to do them with or for. That is a major sacrifice of your ego a lot of times, because most of us are not entrepreneurs. Most of us just have a job. We're working for somebody else and we're underpaid. To take that on for the entirety of your life up until retirement or the point you die, there's a level of love and service that's in that. And I think people misunderstand that and they take it for granted. So when guys make those little viral videos, like she'll open a box. I know there's a couple viral videos where she'd open a box and it'd be like the electric's paid or the light bill's on or you had a car to drive. And she was like, what is this? What is this? She was getting offended. But he's making a point that I'm showing my love, but my gift to you is provision. Your life is maintained.
Right.
And I think sometimes that's something also that people misunderstand.
Right. Because it's almost taken as a prerequisite of the man even being in the presence of anyone as he's supposed to take care of. Not understanding that man's provision and his actions are his way of expressing his love, not something that you deserve. Okay. No, yeah, that's what. Yeah, I can see that. I peeped that too. Man, we also experience love from each other, man, and I think that's where we falling short too. I think that's where we falling short the most, because we usually male camaraderie and love between brothers has been skewed a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if this finna make sense, but rock with me. It's like it's something wrong with me expressing care for my fellow man, right? Somehow, somewhere, it stopped being okay for me to express love and compassion for my fellow man without it being some type of slight to anybody else. You know what I'm saying? It's something wrong with that. Even for men and women, right? But I'm thinking from even men the most. You know what I'm saying? The idea that we don't have to be there for each other because every man got to worry about himself. You know what I'm saying? And we do that a lot to each other as in the pressure to try to come across as self-sufficient. Right? If I don't need another man, if I don't need another man to help me or support me or be there for me, then I come across as a sufficient enough man. I'm good enough if I don't need nobody else to help me. And that's dumb. You know what I'm saying? We need that love and compassion and respect from each other. Especially since a lot of motherfuckers ain't finna do it.
I'm with that. I definitely think you're right.
Because
I mean, go ahead, please.
No, I would say because it's, fact of the matter is the world been told that they don't have to love us. We don't have to love each other. That's why we treat each other like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's just talking about me and to me, and that's why we treat each other like that. It then became cool to leave your fellow man hanging. And I ain't talking about the weirdos, because I said in a minute, leave them dudes who don't want to get help behind. But even to the point of passing down information and us, you know what I'm saying, showing love by helping each other grow, it's always loops and hoops and contingencies with that too. You know what I'm saying? So I noticed that we don't really move with the intentions to love each other as men, as brothers. And I think we need that most of all, because now it's just a pissing contest out here now. It's very few men who really 100% care about each other. You know what I'm saying? And rock with each other like that. So we can't expect nobody else to step up and love us, and we treat each other like shit for the sake of trying to impress those other people. So,
nah, I definitely agree with that. I do believe, and I do have a question lined up around that too. But reset protection in the modern world can even mean affording your family the ability to stay in a safe area or a nice community. but that's not seen as an act of love a lot. That's absolutely true. And salute to Wally versus Media in the building, man. Appreciate you, my guy. And Summerman's Pies passing through. I see my dad making sure everyone has enough money. His love language is making sure we're all okay. And there's something to that. There's really something, I know I'll speak for myself. There's really something that it feels good when you can make sure the people around you are all, as they say, like a lot of times, I guess in rap or sport, everybody around me eating. Everybody around me eats. Like, so, I mean, that's one of them things that definitely feels, I don't know, it feels something. I get a good feeling when everybody around me I'm able to pour into, I guess is another way to say it. So, I mean, that's very meaningful to me.
I'm in a mood too. So, like, I understand when you was like, you seen something that changed your emotional mood. I kind of seen something too before I started. And I look at it like this. The reason you probably feel good about that is because in some form or way, you're feeling some type of role or prerequisite required on you by everybody else. Because to be honest with you, that's pretty much what we appear as to everybody else. Like I see Rashawn. Rashawn probably see me, but to anybody else, we look like dollars. I mean, how many dollars can we produce?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that ain't just in relationship wise. That's most of the people that we encounter as men, including our kids, including, you know what I'm saying, certain siblings in certain cases.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we tend to look at provision as the baseline for what love look like for men. Everybody does that. If he can't provide, he don't love me, regardless of he won't lay his life down for you. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of the fact that he won't move mountains for you in any way, is the fact that he can't provide for you in the way that he wants to. And like I'm saying, this is for anybody. This ain't just me, because I've seen kids treat their fathers like that. You know what I'm saying? I've seen kids whose fathers was there. I've seen people who will say that their father was there, but because the man wasn't a wealthy man, he was a bad father. Because they felt like they was short on what they had. It ain't the reverse look of, well, he did his best. He did the best he could with what he had, and you know what I'm saying? He was just a man, and he could, no, it's not. It ain't that level of grace. So that's kind of the way we suffer too, on the lack of love side, because we running towards that type of love. You know what I'm saying? We're not running to people to just love us for existing as Rashawn and as Yella, and everything else is a plus, right? It's like that's it, and then it's like the provisions are it. That's what makes us a man, and everything else is a plus. You see what I'm saying? If he able to provide enough, most people will look over most men's bad behavior. They'll look over his lack of empathy. They'll look over his lack of love. Right? So
that sounds just like a dude. I needed more emotional support as a teen. He used to give me $5 to send me to the chicken shop. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sound like one of my peoples. Go buy yourself something nice.
Fix it with money.
Jesus Christ, man.
Fix it with money. And at the moment, we usually be okay with that because we don't know no better.
Throw money at it. Yeah, I think a lot of us, like Yella said, man, you did. I'm glad you said that. A lot of us, even as dudes, we're groomed to internalize that. We're taught to internalize that provision is our value. So we don't take the time to emphasize the other aspects of ourselves, and we even deny those other aspects or suppress, deny, whatever words you want to use. That's definitely something we do because it doesn't have any currency. Like there's no value placed upon you being emotionally in tune. Now people are asking for it, but you pointed this out many
Mhm.
times, and we've seen it play out real time. People are asking for us to be more emotionally available and in tune, but at the moment we step into that realm, it gets rejected because they're not used to it. It's unfamiliar. It's uncomfortable. They want us to emote the way that they want or that they do, but we have our own style of emoting communication, and that's not readily accepted. And because there's no currency, there's no price tag attached to it, there's no incentive for people to accept it. So it's like, I'm asking for something, you give it to me. Well, I didn't want that version. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want that. I wanted it the way I'm used to it. I wanted my brand of emotion, not your brand. Obviously, that's off. No, keep that. It's unfamiliar as fuck. Sometimes we don't even know it's happening. Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's one of the things that we have to start as guys. I say we have to start putting ourselves forward so that people can get familiar with us as people and just get used to it. Like just get around it. There's nothing you can do. We're here. We're here. We're dudes. Get used to it. I'm not gonna say the other one. Yeah, like we're here, man. We're here. We're people. We're peopling. We're trying to people. We're trying to be better. I know a lot of us are. The world does not try to get better with us a lot of times. There's something in a partnership, in a relationship that's very important. When your partner is trying to give you what you've asked for, it's important to acknowledge and reward that effort, as opposed to like what you said, like expecting it, like that almost like entitlement. Well, you should have been doing that anyway. Like if you've asked for something and the person capitulates, or whatever words you want to use, they give in, they compromise, they try to meet you halfway, whatever words you're comfortable with. When people are trying to do what you're asking for, it's best to acknowledge and reward that. Not saying like a gold star for Marcus, but I'm saying like, okay, thank you. I see that you heard what I asked for, and I see that you're trying. So I appreciate that. Now we got to work on something else, or we got to add something to it. That's all cool. But start with that acknowledgement and that small gesture. That thanks, thank you. I see that you're trying. Hello, Mrs. She Said in the building. Appreciate you for coming through. And peace to the chat. Thank you, Mrs. She Said. Y'all know that is it is it's important, Bree.
Yeah,
it's nice, but it's also important,
bro. Because I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm gonna tell you like this. I recently was in like dealing with a situation, and the motherfucker told me, it was like, I'm not about to give you credit. This is what I was told. I'm not about to give you credit for the things that you're supposed to be doing. I was like, your first mistake was thinking that I was supposed to be doing something for you. That's the problem. That was your first mistake right there. And that's a lot of the people's first mistake when they come to dealing with me and how they receive what we give to them. You know what I'm saying? It's the looking at me and it's to look at me and assume that the next thing I'm supposed to do with my life is something for you. You know what I'm saying? The next initiative that I'm supposed to have in my life is to do something for you. Well, then it turns into a duty. That don't really turn into love. That's why I was like, I get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? We was having that conversation and it was super insightful, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the difference, because that's when it gets blended. Because if we don't react and do, then we don't love that person, apparently.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the other parts that we would probably need to get better at showing love and showing the things that they want would probably take away from that aspect. You know what I'm saying? That openness and vulnerability is going to take away from that intensity and veracity. It's going to have to. All that aggressive ambition and all this other shit that women say they want and people say they want and men say that we should be, all of that changes when you become emotionally vulnerable. You don't have that same type of veracity. You don't have that same type of intensity, because it's about, if you had that same type of intensity, having that emotional vulnerability wouldn't be possible. You can't be that. You can't be fierce and intense and emotionally vulnerable, because then you're gonna drive yourself crazy. Because you swinging too far back and forth. You swinging too far back and forth. That's the emotional instability that we have a problem with on the other side. You see what I'm saying? Same way we complain about them, they can't control their emotions. They can't do this. They can't do that. Well, if I'm battling between trying to be as fiercely intense, as ambitious as the world want me to be, and also be emotionally vulnerable, I'm going to be driving myself up the wall, trying to find a balance. Because that's a hell of a pendulum swing.
No, I'm definitely with you there, man. You brought up something a couple minutes ago about men needing to be better for themselves. And I had this question, and obviously your answer, you already provided that answer. Do men need to better love themselves? And I'm gonna add to that, because you brought in each other. You talked about men needing to be able to show love to each other, and I think that's important too. I didn't really think about that as much. I have something somewhere in my notes from this professor Odie, who talked about the way we talk to each other, and it was kind of like you said, that we have that expectation of a guy just stepping up, and we kind of load our language with that, like, man up, get over it, suck it up. There's a lot of disregard of the current state of the person and our language and the way we communicate with each other. So I definitely agree with you there. So how would you answer this question? Like, how do men, we know men need to better love themselves. I think you said it, and I know Bree said it a million times, that men need to value themselves more, so that we don't put ourselves in that situation. We don't allow ourselves to be put in that box. But how do you think, what are the steps do you think that some of us could take to get closer to that? Mr. He said in the building. You muted again, my guy.
Shout out to the Says. That's what's up with that, Mr. He said. Shout out to Mr. He said. Same. What I told that brother is sticking with me probably more than it's sticking with him. You gotta offload that burden, man. Cause see, I can, and I know this is where we gonna get into the color thing and all that, race or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I only know how to be a black man, so I can tell you that one of the ways we don't love each other and don't love ourselves is by burdening ourselves with some type of hero complex, or savior complex, or we have to do this to present better for look. One way we can learn to love ourselves as black men better is to learn how to just be men. Yeah, we still gonna go through the stuff as black men. We're gonna do what we gotta do. We gotta live that burden, right? That's cool. Can't really shake that. But we pick up burdens as well as black men to try to compensate for that. Look, I ain't nobody king. We carry this burden of we all kings and queens. But guess what? It's a crown that come with that title. Yeah. And heavy is the head that wear the crown. That's why everybody walking around struggling right now. It don't really matter how much you got right now. Everybody moping. Everybody head down because everybody trying to wear the crown.
Yeah.
Everybody got some stick up their ass right now. Because everybody want to wear the crown. Well, you don't have to. You really don't have to. Because that's a burden. I promise we need to. We talking about offloading a lot. Offload that onto somebody else. Give that shit to somebody else, man. Real. Love yourself better, to love yourself enough to know that you don't got nothing to prove, nothing to nobody. You don't got nothing to prove. Your results are not up for congressional approval. Your results in life are not up for your baby mama's approval. Your result in life is not up for your kids or your brother, whoever, your mama, dad. They ain't up for none of their approval. That's a lot of paperwork.
I love it.
Yeah.
I did find the clip real quick. This should be a short one about men and how we even communicate with each other, with women too. But I appreciated his take on this. I'm gonna play this real quick as soon as I can figure out how, because this is I'm not used to IG on the computer. So y'all bear with me.
Calling black men to task using the same energy and the same language that we do.
Of course.
We're not going to rehash what happened in 2022 and 2023, but what I will say is this. So the good brother Kier Gaines just posted on his Instagram saying that we as black male content creators should utilize a different type of voice when addressing our peers as it relates to things that can help them grow as men. So I'm going to attempt to do that here. We as black men in our masculinity like to use aggressive and diminutive language in order to test whether or not somebody else is masculine enough to communicate with us, right? But when a black woman does it, we feel like she's doing too much. We feel like she's being too masculine. If a black woman in authority does it, we feel like she's using her authority to demean or diminish us. What I'm saying is that that's not always the case. And it definitely was not the case in this situation. We as black men need to do a better job of separating the fish from the bones. What do I mean by that? We tend to like to get upset when people talk to us the same way that we talk to them. There's a part of us that strongly believes that that type of communication style should only be reserved for men. The communication style that we as men usually engage in is in a lot of ways conflictual. But because we are men, we believe that we can just haphazardly throw that type of communication around. We need to learn how to communicate better and we will receive better communication. So if this woman is out here calling y'all B words because y'all are not approaching a particular situation with enough gumption, she's literally mimicking and mirroring what it is that we say to each other when we do not do enough work in a physical realm in order to prove our masculinity. So once again, I will say this again. She was not making fun of black men in therapy. She was calling black men to task using the same energy and the same language that we do when we call each other to task. So either accept the task or don't. But either way, what she's telling you to do is not incorrect. But also being a therapist, she's a black woman, which means that she 9 times out of 10 has engaged with black men who have done the same thing. So at the end of the day, it is still a community-based issue that we as black men have a hand in fixing and solving. And a lot of us do not want to gather the strength that we need in order to begin solving this problem. So when we as black men call each other these derogatory terms in order to incite masculine behavior, which has always bothered me because it's almost like shaking a dog to make it mad, to let it go. But that's another conversation for another time. But when black women do it, we have an issue because once again, that's them being too hyper masculine. That's them not being in their place. All of these things come from gender roles that we need to discard moving forward because it gives us an excuse to either dismiss, diminish, or deflect from the emotional labor responsibility that we as black men have in order to rebuild the community. These women are frustrated. Black women are frustrated. And that's where that message came from. It wasn't making fun of. No, brother.
Real quick, and he was talking about the shake the table lady, like black men, bruh, the one that's in my ism show outro, that lady. So there's an aggressive communication style that men will employ amongst each other. That whole man up, quit being a bitch, nut up, all that language that we use. He's saying that women are starting to mirror that, and we reject it when women do it. So that I'm bringing that back to your point, Yellow. We need to love each other enough so that nobody, and I'll parallel it to the N-word conversation. We need to have enough regard and value for each other to not use diminishing language to each other's humanity as men, so that other people are not picking up on it and mimicking that in any form or fashion. So I think there's a level of like you said, the value that we need to place upon each other, separate of what anybody else puts on us.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right. And before I go into my point, one other point I want to make is, damn, I'm impressed that homie was able to keep a train of thought like that in a public bathroom. I had a sink going off, the toilets flushing, there's people coming in and out, and he made, bro. That's why I can't do videos in public. That's why I can't record. First of all, my attention span is like that. Plus, I be on what the hell is going on around me. He maintained a whole train of thought while somebody was taking a shit. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, because black women blue, blue, gotta just, you know what I'm saying, express what they gotta express. Blue, blue. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no. But you know what though? I would say this. And it's pretty much to the point of what I've been saying. Like, I agree. And that's why you gotta check that shit across the board. I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer that if you feel like somebody talking to you crazy, you check that shit. That's really what I heard. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I guess, and here's what I would say. I would give them that because they, you know what I'm saying, in those type of situations, they really are only, I guess, mimicking how we talk to each other. Well, now, why you would want to mimic how we talk to each other to think that your message is going to come across to us the same way, I don't know. But like he said, that's a conversation for another day. But the problem is that we got to learn to check that shit from the beginning. So yeah, that's another way to, because that, look, if anything, that's, if my love language is fuck around and find out. That's definitely my love language. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta accept it if you're gonna be on that. And I get what he's saying. That's basically what he's saying. You gotta accept it if you're gonna be on that. But I would definitely say, yeah, don't let nobody talk to you crazy. Don't let nobody talk to you crazy. Check that shit. You gotta bug up on that ass, bug up on it.
Now, me and Yellow are on opposite ends of the bug up spectrum because I bug out. I'm out. I ain't about to bug up. I ain't about to do a whole bunch of rah. That's not my style. But how would that process even begin? And y'all wants to know. Honestly, I believe it just begins with one person deciding for themselves out of just sheer character, integrity. I'm not going to be the person that does that to another person. So I'm not going to demean and belittle a person publicly just for the sake of doing it. I'm not going to use the language intentionally to dehumanize. And if somebody brings it up to me that I am like in some way diminishing or dehumanizing their humanity, if I'm taking away somebody's humanity through my conversation, I'm making them like a bot. I'm making them responsible for my feelings, my behaviors, my whatever that's on me, my task. If I'm trying to make them responsible for me, or somehow I'm taking away their humanity, I'm willing to listen and evaluate. And if I need to make some kind of correction, I'll do that. So that's how that process begins. It begins individually. And then again, through conversations like this, where we're spreading that type of message so that people can decide for themselves if that's something that they believe they need to take part in. Is this part of their walk? Is that part of their journey? Because it may not be for everybody right now. A lot of people don't believe in self-development, or they say it and don't do it. So there's a lot of different steps that people are on. And I'm not here to shame anybody that's somewhere else than I am. I'm just saying I want to see the world look different than the one I'm in. The one I'm in leaves a lot to be desired. So I'm trying to create one that's different. I believe my space, the spaces that are around me are all different than the ones outside of my space. You know what I'm saying? Like my sphere, the people I'm around, the spaces I'm around, they move different. They think different. They talk different. That's what I'm drawn to. That's what I'm drawn to try to create. So that's how that process starts. And I want to see Inya's question. It came up over here. She said, from my perspective, it seems that if someone has a different thought process, labels are put in them. It looks like pride. And finally came up on StreamYard. That is true. And labels are useful tools. Like if you have 3 tubs of something, 3 canisters, knowing what's in each canister is a useful thing so that you can save the time of having to pull down each one, inspect it, and then, if you don't need that one, put it back. Labels are useful tools. Unfortunately, we use labels as weapons. That's the problem with us, that we misuse labels. Labels are not a problem. It's the people that and how we use them. So I don't have a problem with labels in so much as we use them to identify something useful, not to try to put somebody on the outside, which is typically how we do. Oh, he's different. He's one of them. And whatever them is, they use that label. He's one of, that means we can dismiss, what he say, dismiss, diminish, and deflect. We use the labels to put them 3Ds on somebody. I only got 1D here, but we try to put them 3Ds on somebody. So, yeah, that is what I say to that. My next question, yeah, that was one of them. I had that moment you said the other day in your head. In your head, it'd be like,
it was yeah. I was trying to be mature about it. It was nice. Trying to show some maturity.
Yeah, boy. But man, all I saw was that when you put it was that pathetic face. I saw that in my head after I did it. In my head, all I saw was that face. All I saw was that face.
I mean, getting that face don't necessarily mean it wasn't funny.
Boy. I'm glad y'all addressing this self-hate between men, specifically in our men. Yeah, it's a thing. We're not kind to each other. I was watching a stream on I Digress yesterday, and it came up and they were talking about the difference between nice and kind. And I don't think we're either. To most men, we're not nice or kind to ourselves. We're not nice or kind to each other, which is kind of what he talked about in the language. We have a very dehumanizing way towards each other. That's why I really appreciate the men in this space, in the spaces I've been around, because a lot of them are okay giving each other their flowers, complimenting them, giving them acknowledgement for things that they've done well. Also, like if they've missed a mark or something, a lot of them, if the spaces I stick around are spaces where the men are willing to say, hey, bro, you might be doing too much, or I like those kinds of men who can address both sides, the positive and the negative, even when it's uncomfortable. So everybody I be shouting out, that's the reason I shout them out, because those are those kind of men that I respect in that regard. Yep. My next question, sir. Do men need to learn to love any differently than they do today? And I put in parentheses because women are asking for a different kind of love from men. And a lot of men are choosing out of love and relationships altogether. So do you believe, in your opinion, do men need to learn to love any differently than they do today?
Yeah. But only for your own benefit. Learn to love better for your benefit. I don't care who asking you to do shit. I'm trying not to be petty. I'm trying to be helpful and not be petty.
Be petty, man. If you got petty in you, man, be petty, man. Let it out.
I mean,
it might need to come out.
It ain't petty as much as truthful, because if women asking for that's different. Because what they ask for is gonna vary. So to change your whole lifestyle based on what women as a collective is asking you to do, you're gonna lose. Again, that's gonna be you trying to swing that pendulum too far. So don't change your loving style for no woman, for no women, for nobody other than yourself. Love better so you can feel better. Love differently so you can feel differently. I don't know. Again, it just seemed like everything wrong right now tends to draw back to us trying to conform or put ourselves in a box to fit what makes everybody else comfortable. You know what I'm saying? See, that's the problem. Everybody other than men have the comfortability to tailor their life to where everybody else has to fit in there. We get too caught up in having to tailor our lives to be able to fit in somebody else's. I mean, yeah. I guess that's what you know what I'm saying. That's what self-love would look like to me. Not just loving yourself, but learning how to love other people differently. That way, it's not a burden on you. It's not something that weighing you down. You're not going above and beyond. You're not breaking yourself trying to love that person or love them people or love anybody. See, for some reason, when we get into this type of love, we want to try to kick those feelings and that work into overdrive. Now I gotta continuous, it's got to be a continuous reassurance on this love that I gotta always reinforce that I love you and that I care about you with these actions. And I gotta no. Because then like it's gonna turn to systematic. It's gonna turn to what I'm supposed to do instead of what I want to do. I want to love you. It's very few people in this world that I feel like I have to love. Nobody else is going to make that list. Sorry, 35. Unless I have another kid, nobody else is going to make that list. Nobody else is going to make the have to love list for the rest of my life, which is cool. I'm cool with that. Everybody else ain't though. You know what I'm saying? I don't respond to what I have to do with anybody. And that's probably a flaw in me. Because the second you approach me with what I have to do, I'm gonna do the opposite. To my detriment with other people and it's men or women, in detriment to myself with other relationships, cool. As far as I feel about myself, me, I'm good. I'm good. Because I think at some point we have to detach ourselves with what we have to do with just to do what the fuck we want to do. If I want to love you, I'm gonna have to learn how to love you differently because it ain't been working out. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's making sense or not, but no, I ain't. Choose out. Shit. Choose out. And when it come to loving somebody else, choose out. Choose no. I want you to love me the way I want. No. Y'all should listen to us. And no. Not even the female centric. I mean the male centric female people, the one who feel like they speaking for men and they don't not them either. Because again, it's just to me, and I'm gonna let it go because this what misogyny gonna kick in. To me, it's just another woman trying to tell a man how to act to make her feel better. So do what you need to do for you. Feel how you want to feel for you. Fuck these people. Basically, fuck these people.
Man, what is up, Mandrell? Now I'm with you. I'm with you on that. That you saw nice. Red face, droopy eyes. There is an important aspect of what you said, man. It has to be for yourself. The changes you're making have to be for yourself. I do believe that a lot of men draw inspiration and motivation to do something off of the back of women. So, I mean, the pursuit of women is a primary motivation for a lot of things men do. But the ultimate, I say, goal and motivation has to be for your own good. Because if it's not, you're going to be dissatisfied. Your expectations, you'll always end up disappointed if you're doing it for someone else. You'll always be disappointed because it's hard. It's hard to ask for somebody else to reciprocate basing your life upon the other person. So yes, if I'm basing my life and my decisions upon trying to get random woman, then asking what I'm doing, most people, because I'm already off. I'm already basing my life upon random woman. My ask of her then is going to be for her to base her life around me. And that's typically not going to happen. I want her motivations to be inclined towards pleasing me. And that's typically not the way people work. So that motivation in and of itself is already problematic. You're already building in a flaw and a problem and an outcome. And Wally says, yep, listen to them. They know the destination to our salvation. See, Wally being, I can't stand Wally. But yeah, it is a problem. You're right. And Mandrell, there you go. Let's go.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Sorry I'm late. I apologize. Yeah, interesting conversation though thus far. Um, and I agree that you shouldn't change for someone else, but I don't know. At the same time, like there's a woman who has my heart right now, right? And all I want to do with the rest of my life is take care of her. That's what I want to do with the rest of my life. Okay. Now, yeah, you're gonna have to change things about like your habits and stuff that you've had to accommodate the other person. But those are habits. As long as you're not changing like the core things about yourself, so I agree with you guys on that. You should never change that. Like if there's something about you, your personality, that one of the ABCs, the things that make you, that person's not vibing with, then hey, either they're gonna have to make some adjustments around that, or it may not work. One of the two, because you can't change things that make you you and think that everything is going to be smooth sailing. It's just not. Luckily for me, I haven't had to do that. I have had to make some adjustments though. I have had to make some. I have, you know what I mean, and some more self improvement stuff that that I've had to begin doing and things like that. You know, but that's self improvement. That's stuff that kind of needed to happen anyway, whether she was there or not. So there's things you guys are talking about. You know what I mean? These are things that okay, yeah, Medra, you should be. Everyone should be trying to do these kind of stuff anyway, whether there's a person in their life or not. So on things like that, like I said, I haven't had to change anything about who I am as a person. I just have to show her who I am. So you know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of it. But I agree. If you're changing things about yourself, like if you like to go swimming in the morning, that's a habit. You can go in the evening or something like that. But you know, if you are a person who is always positive, and that person doesn't want you to be so positive, you know what I'm saying? You're always laughing, you're always being silly, but that person doesn't like that. Well, the other person gonna have to is the one with the issue, not you. You know what I'm saying? That because that's one of the ABCs of you. You're a positive person. You like to laugh all the time. Like me, my lady and I both like to laugh. We're both goofy. You know what I'm saying? So that's not an issue. But if you meet someone who is always bringing negative energy into the room, they just suck all the energy out. That's going to be an issue. But that's one of the if that's one of the ABCs of what make that person who they are, they're probably not going to be able to change that. They may have to find someone else who's okay with that and fits that mold. You know, um, and you guys are right. You should not change solely for someone else. You should change for yourself for the most part. Yeah, but understand that if you meet someone and you're serious, you're talking about getting married, you're gonna have to make some changes. But they're probably gonna be more so changing habits and things like that are developed over time while that person wasn't there. And changing habits is not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. Because if someone doesn't like people who smoke, but you smoke, you're probably gonna have to quit smoking if you want that person.
Mm-hmm.
So there's my 2 cents.
No, I definitely agree for the most part. I think the issue we have in that realm is most people identify who they are with what they do. So they say, I'm a smoker. Like since you smoke, I'm a smoker. So they in their mind, that's a part of who they are. And they don't separate that from just a habit or a practice or a behavior. But you are not your behaviors, you're not your job, you're not your children, you are your own person. And I think a lot of people get lost in those different identities and hats that they wear, especially men. Like even that role, the roles, the provider. I am a provider. You're a person that provides. But if you only see yourself as the provider, then what happens to your sense of self when you can no longer provide or your provision is inadequate? When you're doing everything you can and that woman says, well, it's not enough, I need more. Or you lose your ability to provide. Maybe you have an injury and you can't. Then your sense of self takes an extreme hit. So that's why you can't identify who you are with what you do, because the moment you can't do that thing anymore, I'll say, well, it happens a lot with women in beauty. Like when beauty fades, they age out. Gravity, there's a problem. I've seen a lot of like women that used to be newscasters. They hit that age where they're not really looking for women newscasters over 35, 40. It's a thing. And people have to take that into account.
They talk about it all the
a
time.
lot. Who you are cannot be tied to what you do. Otherwise, when you can no longer do it, you're going to feel like I've lost myself. I think men can hear those things from other men rather than hearing it from a woman. I guess because when a woman say it, it's challenging their manhood in a way. Absolutely. So the brew girl saying it may cause anger in men because she's a woman. Again, my perspective, I'm not, absolutely. There's a thing in hearing it from a woman because you're going to wonder what her motivation is for saying that. Because a lot of it's rare both ways, men to women and women to men. It's rare for people to become invested in another person solely for that other person's well-being. So the same way, like Bree, when we had that flower conversation, a man's giving you flowers on the second date and you're looking funny. Why are you doing this thing? It's kind gesture, but why? The same way a woman giving me advice, why are you giving it to me? Are you giving it to me to groom me to be your optimal partner? Or are you looking out for my own best interests? Because both of those are possible.
Yeah, they definitely are. But I think that it depends on what you're looking for in a mate as well. Like if you're dating just a date and meet people, that's one thing. But if you're dating for marriage, that's a lifelong commitment to one person. You know, so you're going to have to adjust yourself, or not. You know, because if you're a person who's ready for that kind of thing, you don't have to adjust anything. You're just simply ready for it. But you're gonna have to put that person somewhat before yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can't be, especially if you're a husband. If you're going to be a husband, that is a very selfless job. You are doing like you're earning money to provide comfortable surroundings for your family. That means your wife and whatever children you have. You know, or if you don't have any children, just you and your wife. You know, so that other person is included in why you do things. And I agree that you shouldn't make what you do a part of who you are, because I almost fell into despair. I fell into a deep depression after I found out I couldn't be in the army anymore. You know, due to a bunch of injuries that just piled up. You know, because I had associated what I was doing with who I was. Like, okay, I am a warrior. This is simply what I do. This is what I am. You know what I mean? But then you take a warrior and you give him no war to fight. Now, who are you? What do you do now? Where do I go? You know, and I had to face those questions myself. You know, I had to ask myself those questions and I had to figure that out. And it took a long, long time, man. A long time. You know, and it can be dangerous because I've seen people break. I have friends of mine from the army who are no longer here, you know, because they hurt themselves permanently. And it's because they did the same thing. They associated what we did with who they are. And you're right, Arshawn, you can't do that. So you have to be who you are. Like me, I categorize myself as an amalgamation of a lot of things. I love to train MMA, you know, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a part of that, Muay Thai and all that. I'm not the martial artist, but I am a martial artist. That's just a part of what I am. I'm an honest person. I'm not the honest person, but honesty is a part of my core makeup. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not going to let someone else come out and turn me into a liar. Do I lie? Everyone does. Because sometimes you have to for the greater good. Sometimes you have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, say you want to plan a surprise birthday party for your significant other. You may have to tell her, hey, we're going to the movies, or we're going to go out to eat. Get ready, wear something of this category, like wear something casual, you know. You might have to tell her we're going to the movies, but then you go to some venue and surprise, you know what I mean? But you did lie to her. You told her you're going to the movies and you're not, you know? So little things like that, you know? So, like I said, everyone does though. It depends. Are you being dishonest in order to hurt that person or cover up something that you did wrong? Or are you making that kind of a sacrifice in order to make that other person's life a little easier. Like planning a surprise birthday party, or you're buying them something for Christmas and you don't want them to know what it is. So they ask you, hey, what's in the box? Cereal. But it's not. It might be a nice gown or something. But you're right. I'm speaking from personal experience when it comes to associating what you do with who you are. That is a big mistake. And I think everyone should be careful as to not do that. Because again, I fell into a deep depression for years. It was not easy to come out of. I'm glad I did. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Appreciate you, bro. I'm going to ask you guys the next question here. Bam! Do you two gentlemen feel like you have a clear understanding of what love even is? So, Yella, do you think you have a clear understanding of what love is?
I know what it ain't.
I know what it ain't.
No, probably not, because it changes. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I can tell you what it ain't, but nah. And maybe that's the good thing, right? Because when we do get to that for what love is, and that's kind of what we've been talking about the last couple of minutes, is for people, for everybody, it's different. You know what I'm saying? So, nah, I mean, I got a clear understanding of what it ain't. So I've seen 35 years of examples of that. So, you know what I'm saying? When that question comes up, I got you.
I feel you. I don't imagine Joey's pointing. He's like, yeah, I do. So you feel like you have a clear understanding?
Yeah. Also, Yella's correct. It is different for everyone, and love is different for every different person in your life that you do love. My love for my lady is not the same love I have for my mother or my sister. My love for my sister is not the same love I have for my mother. My love for my mother is not the same love I had for my father when he was alive. So it breaks down to each and every individual person that's in your life. What kind of love, how you love them, how much you love them. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, like, in what way do you love them? So, it depends on the person. So for them, what love is clear. For my lady, love is an amalgamation of all things. Love is good. Love is flawed and perfect at the same time. Love is pain. Love can be painful if the circumstances come around. Like, say you piss her off. You're right. Say you do something that she didn't like and she's upset. You love her so much that it makes you disappointed in yourself that you disappointed her. So in that way, love can be painful. But if you do something nice for her, or you're just sitting there watching TV and you're happy and she's happy, you're happy that she's happy. So so you feel good that you made her happy. Love feels good. So I think love is all things at one, can be all things at one time, depending on who you're with. I feel bad if I disappoint my mother, but I don't feel as bad today if I disappointed my mother as I did when I was a child. You know what I'm saying? You're a child, you're like, oh man, I didn't mean to disappoint my mother. You know what I'm saying? Today it's like, I'm disappointed. You know what I'm saying? Am I right, Yella? So,
that's true.
But like my sister, I feel bad for disappointing her because she's a person, like, growing up, I was one of the people she looked up to. You know what I'm saying? She used to run behind me all the time. There's a 6-year gap in age with us, but she used to love to run around and try to be, you're on a big brother and do what he's doing until it came down to martial arts. I tried to teach her karate and she was like, I don't want to learn this. You're just trying to beat me up. Like, no, I'm trying to teach you to defend yourself, But she eventually learned because I wasn't trying to hurt her, and she knew that. So, but I would, when I go to karate class, I would come home, like, on weekends, teach her what I learned through the week, and we practice that stuff all the time. But yeah, I mean, it's different for each person that's in your life. What love is? What's your love for your mother? So I think that'd be a better question. I think we have to be more specific with our question with it. Do you know what love is with your wife? And because my love for my lady is going to be different from the love that Yella has for his. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a different thing there. He and I are two different people. And yes, these are two different relationships. My relationship with my lady, his relationship with his. So it's going to be different for everyone. You know, because like for me, they talk about love languages. I mean, there's something to that because I do love quality time.
See,
You know what I'm saying? I do like quality time. Yeah, I do. And I do like words of affirmation. A thank you would be nice. You ain't got to call
yes,
me emperor, a god, a king. Just thank you. Oh, well, okay. Yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah. Now I got the motivation to go do something else because that person
yeah,
appreciates what I'm doing. You know, because by nature, I do acts of service. That's kind of how I show love, like by doing things for you. You know, it could be buying gifts, it could be whatever, cutting your grass, giving you money for no reason, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Here you go, just go get a pedicure. And it's because I just thought of you. Just like, she don't need one. Just if the time comes where you do need one, here's some money for it. You know, or you can use the money for groceries or gasoline or whatever. Just take the money. I show my love by doing things for people. You know, it ain't all about money, but just doing stuff. I might clean
yeah.
your kitchen or something. I don't know. It's random.
That's cool though. And I absolutely 100% believe in the love languages. I would amend it though. After further study, you know, doing the ism show and stuff with Bree, Bree was doing something on her show, on her channel, and the word affection came up. And everybody assumed affection had something to do with touch. I'm not sure how we got that mapped on, like holding hands, kissing, all that was thought of as affection. But when I looked up the word, affection just means a feeling of liking and caring for someone or something. Tender attachment. That can be physical touch. But I also believe what the 5 love languages are 5 affection languages. So that's just 5 ways that you can care for someone and show tender attachment is through words of affirmation, quality time, because all of those are just different zones of affection for me. So I know we say the love languages, the word love got thrown on it, but I actually think it's closer to affection. And affection is tied to love, of course, but I think affection is a better word than a love language. But it doesn't flow off the tongue the same. The 5 affection languages. So I wanted to amend it with that because I do believe that those are ways that we show affection for each other. And I think somehow over time, affection has become a touch for us. If I'm being affectionate, I'm holding your hands, I'm hugging, I'm kissing. All of that is affection. But actually, no, all of the things like buying something for somebody that you care about. I thought of you when I saw this. That's affection. So I don't think everything has to. I think some of the words, we're losing the meaning of a lot of words. And I wanted to bring that back there. But moving on to the, Enya had a question. I didn't want to keep going by that. When we were talking about the men and the women, is it safe to say that men should teach men and women should teach women? I believe that's the primary way. But I don't think that should solely be the way, because there are things that men need to hear from women and that women need to hear from men. But I think the primary educator for a man should be other men. The primary educator for women should be other women. But of course, because we're not solely existing in one area, we're not separated. Men and women live together. So there are lessons that we need from the opposite gender, the opposite sex, whatever word you feel comfortable using. I'm not trying to go into the division of the gender and sex there, but I do believe the same way in a home you would learn from both your mother and your father. I do believe that you learn from both, and it's not going to be equal. It's going to depend upon the role that you perform. The role that you perform in whatever your life, your profession, that's kind of who you're going to learn from. The person who inhabits that role is the person that's going to teach you to fulfill that role. And typically, if you're going to be the man, a man's role, a man's going to teach that. That would just be the natural way to learn, in my opinion. But if you're learning about some other domain, if you're learning about the woman's role, you might want to learn from a woman. It would make a little sense to me. What do you think, Mandrell? And then Yella?
Absolutely. I mean, you should be learning from women as well. Like I know that you hear in these spaces out here, these YouTube spaces, that the man has to be provider, prophet, priest, the teacher, and this, that, and the other, right? Well, you know what? He needs to be learning from his lady too. You know, and he shouldn't have so much pride that he tunes her out or ignores her or anything like that. You know, so definitely you need to learn from women too, because only a woman can tell you how to operate around a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like what women really want and what they're really looking for. Only women can really say that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have a woman who's being honest, they'll tell you that women are fickle. You know what I'm saying? All of them tell you they're fickle. But men, well, no, you can get any woman you want. See, all you got to say is, and that could lead to delusion. You know what I'm saying? A man's perspective on how to deal with a woman is going to be completely different to what a woman tells you should do when dealing with a woman. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of cases, that's going to be the case. So, yeah, I think the men should be the primary educators. I agree with you wholeheartedly. But you should be learning from women as well. That's why I talk to women. I talk to Kwaye Bree. I talk to Candid Ann. You know what I'm saying? I talk to, like, Shakiri whenever I see her. Or get a chance to, you know what I'm saying, talk to her or whatever. Yeah, I talk to my sister. You know what I mean? It's a woman. Let me hear a woman's perspective on this. Because I might be wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a person who's completely prepared to be wrong about any subject at any given time. And if I'm wrong, I want to be corrected. You know? So you might have to ask a woman to get the correct answer. Because men, let's be honest, we don't know everything. And there's a lot of stuff, especially if you're looking at YouTube, a lot of stuff we're wrong about when it comes to dating and relationships. You know? There you have it.
Now I was yeah, I would say that. Yeah, like we need to listen to women because it's good to just basically collect a lot of information and kind of sift through as needed, right? It's good to have the information, that way you can apply it for the particular situation. You know what I'm saying? But that's it really does come down to the woman that you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Like I do listen, like you said, we talk to a lot of women out here, and I take advice from the ones who are like balanced. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I'm like 50-50 with that. Yeah. I would say this: don't listen to no woman you got romantic interest in.
Yes. Interesting.
Don't listen to no woman got romantic interest in you. You want to be better, talk to a woman that don't have no interest in you. Those typically the ones give you the best advice.
Bree said, I'm gonna tell you, I was getting ready to go petty before Yella threw that curveball. Let me go ahead and put this petty up here real quick, because I'm gonna disagree with Yella a little bit. Yella said listen to the balanced women. I'm gonna say listen to the unbalanced women too. You can learn a lot from a dummy. I'm trying to tell you, you can learn a lot from a dummy. Listen to everybody. Let all of them teach you, but don't accept everything you hear. Let everybody talk, but don't accept. You don't have to internalize it. You need to know what the dummies think too. You need to know what the stupid people think. It's highly important. You need to know what the dumbest person in the room thinks. That's your blind spot. That's a blind spot, because there's a lot of people giving out a lot of bad instruction. You need to know what you're up against. I know, and Mandrell from military background, you need the intel. You need to know everything that anybody opposing you, if any piece of information you can get about your opposition. And the stupid people are your opposition. I promise you. You may not think about them like that. Stupid people are a problem. I'm trying to put my listening ears on today. So the power struggle has to be stopped. The power struggle is going to be the power struggle. And yeah, I promise you, there's no way to stop people struggling for power. People that don't have it want it. And people that have it are going to wield it. There's no way to get around that. That's a good one, they're trying to win. The fact that my internet friends are so toxic is great. Rashawn said, hey, listen, there are a lot of idiots out here, Bree. And it's okay. We just need to account for it. You need to account for your weakest link. The weakest link breaks the chain. So if we don't know what's going on at the weakest link because we're put off by it, yeah, don't. That's right. All info is good info. Just don't treat all info like facts. Salute to Sim Simma in the building. Appreciate that clean, concise quote to clarify. I wasn't trying to do that alliteration, but you know, I itch at the word stupid. I don't think people are stupid. Maybe lack of understanding is a better term. No, stupid is a great term.
Put it
Stupid
on
is a
there.
term.
Remember
Stupid is a
labels.
fine
You
term.
have to know what's in the jar. You have to know what's in the jar.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
have to know what's in the jar.
Absolutely. Now, listen, I did a whole stream about stupidity, the science of stupid. Stupid is a real thing. And the breakdown of stupid is they are people that they cost themselves. They offer no benefit to others, and they offer no benefit to themselves. They damage everybody, including themselves. Those are stupid people. So that they're a problem in society. No matter where you've arrived in life through accolades or achievement, through finances, you can still be stupid. So it's okay. The stupid exists. And I don't mean uneducated. I don't even mean inarticulate. I mean stupid.
Stupid.
I mean what I mean. Stupid is a thing. And it's a problem. And we need to know what it's doing. I could point you to some panels where there's a lot of stupid. I'll just name one. Anton Daniels. He offers a lot of benefit to a lot of people, but the man is stupid. The man, he gives a lot of bad information, bad logic. There's a lot of stupid that comes out of that man's mouth. There's a lot of people like that. They say a lot of things that are more harmful. They don't help them. They don't help others. That's stupid. As far as his financial information, sure. Fine. Maybe that works. Now, I guess it maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't listen to financial stuff. I've just heard him talk about. I've heard him talk about race and gender, and I'm like, this man can't string together too many things.
It's all stupid. It's all stupid.
Because fellas, I've heard him say some things about finances, dealing in the realm of finances. I was like, wait, what? Why would you say that? Like off the top of my head, the second he said, I was like, wait, no, what? No, why would you say that? You know what I mean?
That's why it's like
financial information. He might be right. I was like,
you're right. That's
he
like
might be right. Depends on what he's talking about. But
nah, man, my thing is this.
Several things. I'm like,
my thing is this, man. If your track record got too much stupid on it,
yeah,
I really can't afford to even try to give you the consideration of what you're talking about. Like it's a saying around here, like everybody like to say, and Buddy tried to say it in the video we watched earlier, like eat the fish and what some with the bone. Basically, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Separate the meat from the bone or something like that. Yeah,
separate. Nah, fuck that.
The whole,
sometimes you gotta chuck the whole chicken leg away, bro. Sometimes you just gotta chuck the whole turkey leg away and just go make you a salad, nigga. Like for real. You know what I'm saying? I'm not no. No. Hell no. Cause ain't no telling what the fuck that meat. Ain't no telling what kind of bone that meat is attached to. Cause see, that's too far into us trying to find good silver linings in everybody. That's why I tell folks up front, I ain't shit. I ain't shit. I ain't here to teach you. I'm here to give an opinion. I ain't here to save nobody. I'm here to be entertaining, give an opinion. When I'm done, go play a game. Y'all be like, yeah, I learned a lot about Yella. I don't know how to fix myself, but I learned a lot about Yella and how he felt about shit. Because I'm stupid. Remember the whole idea about stupid shit? I'm stupid. But guess what I'm not stupid at? I'm not stupid enough to try to fucking teach nobody nothing. And that's the disconnect that some of these motherfuckers have. They don't know that they stupid enough not to try to teach nobody shit. You don't realize that half of your accomplishments in life was just dumb luck that you just kind of stumbled across. That's what most people's accomplishments is. Unless you have one of them lives where you went to school for a specific thing and that's what you did, most people didn't. Most people went to school for some shit, ain't doing what they went to school for now because everybody's an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's doing their own thing. We need to start checking the stupid factor in a lot of people. No. Everybody a motivational speaker. I promise. Everybody a motivational speaker. Everybody a teacher. Everybody got a course. The second I found out you got a Patreon course, I'm done with you. I don't trust nothing you gotta say. Second I found out, bro, I'll be looking like, I ain't trying to knock nobody ambition, but I'll be like, the fuck you mean book a session? I'll be looking at some of these content creators, they be having like links to book set. Dog, this ain't nothing but like a fan call. I remember when the WWF had the WWF hotline where you can call the WWF hotline and speak to Shawn Michaels for like 20 minutes for like $3. That's essentially what they offering. Like, I get to talk to this character of this person that's behind this YouTube channel so they can be their character for a few minutes while they make $10 off me. Hell no. Y'all bugging. I'm sorry. So
Nah, you're actually good. And I'm glad you said everything that you said, because I want to announce the Critically Drinking Patreon at $4.99 a month. You can come in on the Savor for $9.99, you could be a paver, help me build. And for $24.99, you are a craver, somebody that just crave information. So if you are a Critically Drinking supporter and fan, come in, tap into the Patreon. I had to do it, man. I had to do it.
And at all tiers of the Patreon, the only thing you get is me calling you stupid. This is exactly what it's going to get. At all tiers, just me being there calling you stupid.
Yeah.
No, that's what you don't know that. You don't know that. Yellow, you can't say that. Yellow, you can't say that. You don't know that. You know why? Because you ain't subscribed to the Patreon. That's why you can't say that. So you don't know. You ain't subscribed to the Patreon, Yellow.
I know. Trust me, I know.
And then you subscribe to the Patreon, and you find out like it's like, I Googled all of this like 9 years ago. This is like the baseline information. Like, if you're in business, you know this. These are things you know. If you're an entrepreneur or you're in business, you know all this stuff. I don't care if you're just like, if you own an LLC, the things in your Patreon, people know that. So where's the hook? People can Google that. Oh, 2 months later. Oh, nothing? Okay, cool. Unsubscribe. Thank you very much.
Boo.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I gave you time.
Yeah.
I gave you time. I mean, I saw it was already in there, and nothing spectacular came out of it in 2 months. I mean, I ain't gonna keep giving you $9. You know what I'm saying? A month to tell me what I already know. You know?
Yeah,
but if they can get you.
Now I was gonna say, I'm just looking like this, man. Andrew, all right. Most of the information you need to be successful are the people who have Patreon just fainted. But look, man, that's the thing about it, man. Even most of the information that you need at this point is available at the press of a Google. Right, it's there. Most of the information that people most of the information that people need to just be able to be productive people in the world, with whatever you want to do, it's there to Google. People paying for something else. That's what I'm saying. A lot of the people that's just giving you the game ain't getting the same traction as the motherfuckers who give you the game and it's covered with bullshit. I think we talked about this last week. They're not getting that same traction because people trying to pay for something else. Because a lot of that information comes with all the things that tickle their fancy too. Whether it's the content creator who got this disdain for women or anything that's not him. You know what I'm saying? Or whether it's the content creator who's got the conspiracy theories. You know what I'm saying? All their financial ideas are backed by conspiracy theories and how these people cut you out of this money. So this is what you need to do to try to get back in. Bro, I promise you. I've been sitting here watching, like, I'm not a financial specialist or nothing like that. they ain't even claim to be, right? But I'll tell you one thing. I watch a lot of these videos where they try to explain to you how you should go get this. It's not an LLC, but it's something else. If you go get this, and then you put your house in your business with this, and then you got this that control that, and then that. I was like, yeah, I know that's like the same shit that them people be getting caught that go to jail for, right? The same shit you explaining that you be like, yeah, because these motherfuckers been doing it for years, and yeah, and they the same reason them motherfuckers end up in jail for. That's why all the other shit don't get them, but tax shit. That's the only thing they be getting these folks. It's tax shit. You know what I'm saying? So you sitting here and you want to manipulate the system and you want to figure it out because of some oppression that you feel because these people did it. The problem is that you see them succeed. You don't see them when the shit come tumbling down on them because it always does. It always does. The perfect example is this PPP loan shit. Like the fact that we as a people fell into that and we was on that shit, like for real, as a legitimate thing to do, showed that all we want to do is try to come up. We're not really trying to be productive. We're just trying to tickle our fancy. If you really want to learn something, you can go learn it. Like, people was maintaining positive relationships before the internet relationship world came. People was maintaining money before all this information was available. People was doing this shit because, all these streams and shit, all these people who got people was doing all this shit. Now everybody's teaching the wrong way to do it. Or their way. Like, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna leave it alone. Most of the people presentation on how they became successful and what they try to teach everybody just sound like that BET movie where it'd be like, yep, that's me. Wonder how I got here? Here's my story. Because it's so tailored to them and their individual success, but they think that is supposed to just happen to the next person.
And that goes into like the models of learning. Like us as people, anybody listening, you have to be able to separate whether somebody's giving you general good advice. It just generally works. Like tying your shoes is generally beneficial because you probably won't trip. That's generally beneficial. Then there's specific information. Like we know your situation. Your shoes don't even have laces because you wear Velcro. Because you don't like laces and you're lazy and don't like bending over to tie your shoes. That's specific. So there's general and then there's specific. And you have to be able to tell the difference because a lot of people do, like Yella said, they'll give you what works specifically for them. They won't give you all the specific steps because they won't even acknowledge. When people, I know a lot of people that talk about all the stuff they've done. Like Yella said, they do not tell you about all the failures. They do not tell you about all the hard times. We talked about I saw it on somebody's thing. Don't compare your everyday to other people's highlights. Like they're tailoring and packaging information that looks good, sounds good, so that you'll buy it. Tap into their Patreon, buy their book, register for their course. They're selling you information, like Mandrell said, that's readily available for free. But a lot of us don't want to do the work of accumulating and sorting, verifying, and applying all of that stuff. We want somebody that we trust that says it the way we want to hear it, and we'll take it from them. I'm not even shading that. We just need to know that's what we're doing, being critical about it. We need to understand that that's what we're doing. We're looking for a shortcut or somebody to hand us the pill instead of us doing the wellness walk. So we're looking for that quick capsule. We're trying to encapsulate a solution as opposed to, walking in wellness. But if you're here, you're looking for the quick fix. That's cool. I get it. I'm that person too. I'm not shaming you. We need to understand that's what we're doing, accept the risks that come with that, because there are risks for looking for shortcuts. Looking for shortcuts comes with some risk. You might invest in something shaky. You might deal with some people that are just trying to get some money out of you, and you'll waste a lot of time. Like Mandrell said, I'll be a couple months in a Patreon and nothing useful came out of it. So that's an inherent part of the risk you take when you look for shortcuts. Even in self-help, self-love journeys. If somebody's talking about they were coming back from trauma, so they took 90 days and solve their trauma, to work through. No. That's a lifelong journey. It's a journey. You're going to be processing these things for the rest of your life. Trauma is not something you just put a timetable on. That's not how trauma works. And maybe somebody does get over the trauma, but generally speaking, people, you deal with the things from your history. You don't solve them. They don't just go away. I think the ones who really grind my gears are the religious ones. Ooh, who have Patreon or even the memberships. I have a message from God for you. If you want to hear the secrets, go to my Patreon. I really don't like that either. I really hated the prayer cloths. The $50 prayer cloths or a little vial of water. That's when I was like, wow, these people are. It was crazy, man.
What?
You leave Reverend Ike alone.
Bro,
you leave Reverend Ike on the prayer oil and the cloth.
Yeah, man. Come on,
cloth?
man.
Yeah.
50, 100, 250, like for a cloth, and people will have cloths all around their house. You trying to tell me that the same God that this guy has is not the same guy you have, so you can't just pray over your cloth and lay it on your head when you're sick? Like, come on, man. I don't understand it, but I get it. We're looking for shortcuts. We're looking for somebody to hand us some solutions. I get it. I don't like it. I do it. So again, I'm not shaming. I do it myself. I'll fall into some stuff too. We all have some stupid in us. I don't want to ever get that confused. We all got something makes all of us stupid. And we got to be aware of it. But I do want to ask y'all the next question. Because we got into a little petty. And that was fun. Got my energy back. I like it. Gentlemen, now this is a more personal question. Do you think you are capable of adequately loving a partner or children? And what are your love weaknesses? And because I'm asking y'all to be vulnerable, I'll go first. Am I adequately capable of loving a partner? Now, me personally, right now, I am too selfish. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm too selfish to adequately love another human being. For a romantic partnership. Couldn't do it. I'm just too selfish. Way too selfish. A child, I would sacrifice. I would make sacrifices for children that I would not make for an adult. I just wouldn't. I already know right now. My love weakness right now is that I'm so selfish and I do not care. I do not care to change it. That's a weakness right now for me. I'll admit that. I would not give up my way for anybody. Unless it was a kid. Like my nephew, I'll change some stuff. I will change some stuff for my nephew. He's grown, but I would still change some stuff for my nephew. But it would have to be a child. It would have to be somebody I saw as a child that I would make changes for. But an adult, like a woman coming in my life, couldn't do it. I could not love her properly because I'm just so selfish. And the moment she puts a demand, which it would be a reasonable demand, I'd be like, you know what? I don't think I want to do this. I don't think so. But again, if you guys feel comfortable answering this question, by all means, gentlemen, the floor is yours.
I mean, man, as far as loving my son, man, this shit, look, that's an abundance. You know what I'm saying? That's the only love I got in abundance right now. You know what I'm saying? Because when it comes to the partner thing, like I probably could, but I would need. See, my love weakness is not getting in return investments. Right? I'm not really in the position to really love without nothing in return. I'm not willing to put out what I'm not going to get back right now. You know what I'm saying? So I think that my love weakness might be trying to really trust nobody. I can't trust no woman right now. I can't. I think she's just gonna spontaneously combust at any time. That's just how random. That's just how much like right now. I think they would just like spontaneously combust. That's just how volatile I feel about it. So, nah, I don't know. You, only love I got in abundance right now is for my kids. So that's adequately, yeah. No, ain't no problem. Shit. I probably treat him. I probably treat him the way that most men would probably look at the bad way. Like I don't have no problem. I don't have no problem with hugging my son. I tell my son I love him on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem with that. I tell my son, hey, look, man. I give him that, like, hey, look, because I know what it's gonna be like when he get grown. Hey, look, if you feel like don't nobody love you, Dad gonna always love you, boy. Always love you. You know what I'm saying? So that right there, that's about it. Yeah. Sorry.
I mean, that was a fair answer, man. And I like the way you came around and was like vulnerable. You know what? I just can't trust a woman right now. I mean, that was extremely honest and vulnerable. So, man, I respect that. Now, Mandrell's got it. He's got to give a very specific yes. Do you think you're capable of loving a partner? Yes, absolutely. I love her. I love her all the time. I've loved her forever. I loved her before I even met her.
Well, Jesus. You think you're going to go that far with it? Do I think it's capable? Absolutely capable. But I've known that about myself for most of my life. Like when I was a teenager, I knew I had that kind of capacity to love somebody. But that's why I protect myself. And before I knew it, I put a whole lot of layers of protection around myself. You know what I'm saying? And one of the reasons why I'm in therapy now is so I can go ahead and get rid of all those layers so I can give all of that to the lady I'm with now. Now there's a danger to it. She could break my heart in 10 minutes. Like she could call me 10 minutes and just totally shatter it. I'm completely vulnerable to that. You know what I'm saying? But that's the risk you run. Every relationship is a roll of the dice. Every relationship you get into, in a serious relationship, you run that risk of being heartbroken or devastated, however it's going to affect you, you know. But it's not fair for you to be in a serious relationship, especially if you're looking for marriage, to hold back because you're afraid that person might hurt you. It's not fair to for the person, and it's not fair to you. So, you know, yeah. Am I capable? Yeah, definitely. Okay. And you know, I'm a person who if I found out I'm good at something, the tendency for me is to go as far as I can, push as far as I can. So I'm gonna try to show her more and more and more as time goes on that hey, I love you still. Hey, you're still that chick. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I am with it. And like that's I said again, you're vulnerable. I'm vulnerable, so I mean, but that's a part of it.
That is part of the bargain, man, for sure. And hello, Anae. I don't think I spoke to you when you came in. Anea. I know I waved, but I know I'm able. My weakness, remembering someone wants to do just as much for me that I want to do for them. Yeah, that can also. I know I've had a problem with that too. I've had a problem accepting love, like kind of like that trust thing from Yellow. I have a problem accepting. I love giving, but it's hard for me to receive. Unless I like the way it looks. Y'all seen that with me in streaming. Y'all seen I like very specific displays of appreciation. I'm very specific about it. If it doesn't come the way I like it, I don't really receive it well. So I mean that's a quirk. That's a problem on my side. But I'm aware of it and I try to acknowledge it. I try to work through it. Next question, gentlemen. Now I got this from my co-star app, this little horoscope thing I downloaded a while back because it asks interesting questions sometimes. Do you believe you have to destroy yourself to become something someone else loves? I thought that was an interesting question because I'll tell you, I would rephrase it. Sometimes I feel like a lot of us men feel like a part of us has to die to be lovable. There's a part of us we have to let go to be lovable. What's up, Marcus? What do you gentlemen, do you think a part of us has to be killed off to be lovable?
Well, it depends on the type of person that you are, right? Like if you're a mean person, if you're a spiteful person, if you hold on to things, like if someone says something you don't like, and then 8 months down the road, you bring that up in an argument. Okay, like why are you holding on to that? You know what I'm saying? In order to really love someone, you have to be able to take your licks and keep moving and let go of it. You know what I'm saying? Let go of it and don't think about it anymore, because you can't hold things against people. We're all human, which means we're all subject to mess up. We all are. But if you love someone and you want to spend the rest of your life with that person, you can't keep a tally of what that person's doing right or doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna have to work these. Now, if it's something that you notice this person does a lot, like a lot, okay, and this is now becoming an issue. Okay, look, before this becomes a problem, let's settle it now while it's an issue. Let's fix this. You know what I'm saying? But so if you're a spiteful person, if you're a vengeful person, you're a hellraiser, yeah, you might need to kill that off. You know what I'm saying? Just make it a long answer short. You're probably gonna need to kill that off. So it just depends on what characteristics you're talking about when it comes to you have to kill something off. It's not a flat out no, you shouldn't, but yeah, killing that stuff off is something you should want to do anyway, in my opinion. Like, why are you spiteful? Why do you have to go tit for tat?
Yeah.
Like, I've never understood that. You know what I'm saying? Why can't you let things go? You know, why are you sweating the small stuff? I ask people this all the time. Why are you sweating the small stuff? Like, that's not even an issue. Yes, it is. No, it's not. I think you just need to cool down, buddy. You know, I can't tell people how to feel. I can't tell people how to manage their emotions. So, I mean, they do what they do. I don't sweat the small stuff. That's why I I don't complain a lot. Like, even to my lady, she's done some stuff that made me go like, is that, you know what I'm saying? And she's done something, but I hadn't said anything because she don't do it enough for it to become a problem. You know what I'm saying? It's something that comes up every now and then, blue moon, but I was like, okay, why would I bring that up if it's not really an issue? You know what I'm saying? So I just I just won't say anything. If it's not an issue, why does it warrant a conversation?
Yeah. Yellow, I'm gonna let you answer this question. Then I'm gonna restate this based upon a conversation we've had before. But I want you to go ahead and answer it the way I've already expressed it, if you can.
So you said you got this from what app?
CoStar,
the
astrology.
App?
Yep, that one. Sharabi Chicago put us on too.
I was gonna say shout out to Sheree. So if this is directly from there, I recognize this language. No.
What do you mean? Elaborate. What do you mean you recognize this language?
That whole you have to destroy yourself to become something someone else loves. Yeah, fuck everything about that whole idea. I know what that's about. Fuck everything about that whole idea. Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna reframe this question around the conversation we've already had. Do you believe that men are asked to sacrifice their lives to become lovable by women?
Oh,
and now the particular conversation I know we had was a man. Only time a man is seen as good is when he's doing something for other people. So do you believe that we end up having to sacrifice, be the sacrificial offering to become lovable in the eyes of the world? Because again, like I remember when somebody said that, I never thought about it. Anytime a man is being like, oh, that's a good man, it's typically when he's in service to other people, doing for other people. And I was like, that's interesting. I had never thought about that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the problem.
Word is yucky.
Yeah, for real. But no, that's absolutely the case. That kind of tied back to what I was talking about. Like, it's fuck being good, basically. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because being good is just the interpretation of actions through other people. Now, don't be a dick You know what I'm saying? That's the, you know what I'm saying, rule number one. You don't go out here and be a dick. But nah, we asked to sacrifice a lot for the betterment and the comfortability of, I guess, for the benefit and comfortability of women. If that's a particular question we asking, you know what I'm saying? That's a particular question we asking, right? Like how? Yeah. So, nah, you just keep coming back to this. Must be my flag to wave right now. Like, I love women. Don't get it twisted. I want women to be happy. I want women to be safe around men. I want men to appear to be people in women's eyes, but at the same time, no. Fuck your standard of what the hell we supposed to do. It's not benefiting us. It don't even benefit you. So anytime that's required of a man, if he losing himself, then what the hell are you even with him for? Because that was a lot of what, like, I mean, having to encounter that shit changed the whole, having to encounter that shit changed everything, bro. To watch somebody try to encourage self-improvement under the guise of their own selfish need is weird as shit. Because you can tell, like, this is the whole knowing what love ain't. I can tell when the reason why I have a problem with a lot of situations is because I can tell when somebody is trying to make me do what they want me to do for them. Like, if all of your ways to improve me are all the ways that you want to improve yourself, you're not trying to hear me. I can pick up on that. You know what I'm saying? Or the worst type of people is them type of people who give you advice, and if you do the opposite, no matter what the results, whether it yields over expectations, you still did the wrong thing because you didn't listen to them. And that's kind of the situation I'm at, man. Look, I'm gonna back down because I really got some fire for that. That's what I'm saying. Like,
some rant in
bro, it seemed like it's always coming back to that. It seemed like everything we talking about just seemed to keep coming back to that, bro. Stop trying, man. Fuck what they want. For real. As long as you ain't hurt nobody, fuck what they want. Because that's the shit that keep us up at night. That's the shit that keep us trying to constantly look at what we doing as not good enough because we want the approval of everybody else to fucking be like, yeah, that's a good man right there. We want that reaction. Man,
attaboys, yep.
We want the validation.
Yeah,
we want the validation, yeah. Everybody wants, but everybody, if you're in a relationship, everybody wants to add a boy every now and again.
Yeah,
everybody wants the occasional pat on the back. You know, it just shows that person is just showing you that they appreciate what you're doing or how you're handling things. You know what I'm saying? But if you're in the military, you should stop caring about pats on the back or attaboys. You should stop caring about that. You're not getting it. You know what I'm saying? What was your question again, Arshad? I was listening to Yale's response. I like his response.
No, I rephrased that same question about is the only way for a man to be seen as lovable is to sacrifice himself, whether that's through endless service, acts of service, you know, sacrificing your body, the whole protector, you know, that in the manosphere spaces, if somebody breaks in the middle of the night, is that the only way that we're seen as valuable is we're sacrificing our body for other people's benefits, whether that's through safety, whether that's through provision and labor. Like, is that the only way?
Mentally,
to be lovable?
I mean, you know, say if two people connect mentally, that's the way we're seen as valuable, you know, or spiritually. You know, you have a lot of preachers who are married, you know, and their wives fall in love with them largely because of their perceived spiritual connection. You know what I'm saying? Now, that guy could be the biggest charlatan in town. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? But that woman fell in love with him probably primarily because of his perceived spiritual connection. You know what I'm saying? She fell in love with that part of him. Women fall in love with different parts of us. You know, now YouTube will have you think, and yeah, there's a fair amount of people out there, especially the younger this younger generation. You know, you're not making $100,000. You don't have any value. If you're not willing to do this, that, and the other, you don't have any value. I mean, you know, but that's like, how often do we run into that in our real lives? I've run into it in my real life, to be honest. I have. So when I saw it here on YouTube, I wasn't surprised. You know what I'm saying? I was like, eh. But then I didn't know it was such a big deal. You know, I didn't know so many other people had to deal with the same thing. So is it the only way we're seeing? No, but I think YouTube will have you think so. You shouldn't let it, in all honesty. If you're putting forth the effort, you're busting your ass. That person does not recognize it. That person does not appreciate it. I mean, then you need to sit down and have that talk. You know, you're doing everything you can to make this person happy, but it never seems good enough. I've been in that situation.
Target.
Right. It's a moving target. Okay, I did this, and they just invalidate everything that you do. You know, or say there's an issue in the relationship, and everything you throw out, they counter it, or they find some way to push it aside, or dance around it. That warrants a conversation. Because doing that, then the person doing the dodging and going around, that can quickly lead the person making the suggestions feel invalidated. You know what I'm saying? And the other person might not even realize they're doing it, but they may have to change that. That's what comes to things when you might need to change. You might need to change your communication style.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You may need to stop and listen, as opposed to assuming you know where that person's going with the conversation and responding that way. You know?
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the only way we're seeing as valuable. It just depends on who again, it's nuance. It depends on who you're talking to.
That's a very fair and balanced answer, Mandrell. I respect that out of you, and I would expect nothing less from a man who just talked about morals last night on Black Man Unfiltered.
What you think of that show, by the way?
Actually, I thought it was cool, and you kept it short too. That was another cool thing too. But I really enjoyed you and Shoe's conversation before y'all opened it up. It was good to see Tommy B. I hadn't seen Tommy B in a minute either, but
right.
I think morals are something people don't talk about. Y'all talked about morals and ethics, and it is important to notice how business has gotten away from carrying values and ethics. I thought that was interesting. Y'all brought up the business, how the weed thing that caught me off guard too. I didn't expect y'all to talk about that because, like, it's right.
It was a good example.
Yeah, because weed wasn't really a thing that was a problem until laws were placed, and then people started attaching stigma to it. So that was, I mean, our morality, we have to start admitting it's shaped also by policy over generations. If a policy is longstanding, it starts to inform people's sense of morality. I mean, that's stuff we need to think about, because we accept a lot of just, what do you call it? I think you call it propaganda. Like with the weed thing, we accept a lot of propaganda. Somebody told us it was bad. We think it's bad, and a lot of misinformation gets passed like that. Let me see.
Yep.
Had a code like, yeah, that whole Jack thing, that was crazy. Kate Winslet could have scooted her privileged ass over. They both could have fit on that door. Yeah, it was crazy. But it feels like sometimes as men, there's a sacrifice required. You have to sacrifice just for other people's comfort. I know Yella, he was harping on that. But I'm gonna move on to the next question while he I thought I had another comment star. Let me see. I wanted to come back to this. And hey, listen, I think you gave me better language for my little Patreons. Critical stinkers, that's going to be the $4.99 tier. Then the critical thinkers are going to be the $9.99. The $24.99, that's going to be the critical drinkers. You know, I like that language. The critical stinkers, those are going to be the ones. Maybe I do $1.99 because they stunk. They stinky. But nah, no Patreon. I thought that was messed up. That was a good one. I wanted to ask the next question. Let me see. And this is a one I'm actually. This came up in a group chat today, but it's something I've been dealing with for a while because I can't understand the dynamics of it myself because I'm dealing with it. Like, it's a literal problem for me. Men are so ready to die or kill for who they love, why are we so unwilling to live differently for them?
Wow, Arshawn, this is a very good question. Men are ready to
Critically sober.
die. Yeah.
Critically sober. Yeah, we'll get you a critically sober tier. We'll get you a critically sober tier. But yeah, I promise you, I've been trying to process this for like at least 2 years now. And I'll tell you why. Like I cite my nephew. I cite my nephew a lot as part of my self-development process. He's as close to a child as I'll ever have. He's as close to a child as I'll ever have. He's grown now, but him being put in my life and for a large amount of time that I spent with him, I had to become a better person to give him better than I had been given. So I felt like there were certain steps I had to take because I owed it to this person who did not know any better, that could not defend themselves, to give them as much as I could force myself to give by getting it from wherever I give it, so that he didn't have the same disadvantages that I had. Like, that was important to me. For whatever reason, it was just important to me. But I know and I've seen this play out a lot of times, especially in the Black community. Somebody disrespects us or something, we're willing to kill. Willing to kill. People have killed over jackets, sneakers, chains. People will kill for a lot. People will kill for jealousy, for relationships. They'll kill for all kinds of things. Now, as far as being willing to die, we'll step up and put our bodies on the line for dates that we don't really know that well. We'll step in line for kids. We'll put our lives on the line for, like, you're in the military. We'll serve. We'll throw our lives out there. There are grown men that'll work themselves to death. Now, women that are taking on the role of provision, they're working themselves to death in unhealthy minds. People are willing to die for whatever it is they want and believe in. We're willing to kill. We're willing to die. However, if you were to ask almost anybody, I would say it's got to be like 90% of the population, probably 99% of the United States. If you were to ask any one of these people, are you willing to die for, I'm going to say, your spouse? Absolutely. No question. If you needed to, would you kill for them? Absolutely. No question. Would you quit eating red meat for them for a month? Ooh. Would you put down sugar for them? Would you stop smoking? Huh? So there's a problem. For me, I don't even understand the problem, because I know myself, and I'm working through this real time. I know I'm willing to kill for my family. I know I'm willing to die for my family. But if my family said you could never pick up another high fructose sugar drink again in your life, I would slip up. If it came down to, another cheeseburger, I'm gonna be at McDonald's at some point. Why can't we tune our behavior to live for the people that we're willing to die or to kill for? That's a thing I haven't been able to figure out, even within myself. Why does it feel so monumental? Because last thing, and I'll let you answer this. Even in the relationship space, men are scared to death of losing money on dates or alimony or child support to women. The very women that they say they'll kill for or die for. I'm not going to live for you or let you take away from me. And in reverse, women seem to be just as allergic to the word submission. I can't let you have a one up over me. I can't let you feel like I gotta do what you say. I gotta have my. Why is it for the people that we say will sacrifice our life for or would protect by taking someone else's life? What is it in our minds that won't allow us to make these adjustments in our behavior to live on a daily basis in a way that suits this person that we love enough to end our life for, or to take someone else's life for? To me, I can't figure out the math on that. Like, that's, so I'll let you answer. I'll step out, but that one always gets me.
Yeah, I think it's like because of something like that, like eating red meat or stopping a habit. You know what I'm saying? That takes willpower, lots of it. And they know that their significant other is probably not going to leave them over that, and so they kind of take it for granted. You know what I'm saying? But if they were under threat of their significant other leaving, they probably stop, or they give it. One of two things is going to happen: either they're going to stop cold turkey, or they're going to say screw it, or they'll try to stop and eventually say screw it. I submit to this habit, and then they lose a significant other. You know what I'm saying? That's one of those things that it kind of pass or fail if they're under the threat of the person leaving. Something that takes willpower, that's a pass or fail moment. As to why that is, some of us ain't able. And it depends on what it is.
I know where it came up today. I know where it came up in a group chat. It came up around taking care of your health. It came up around doctor's visits. Because, a lot of people in the Black community, I'll say specifically, a lot of people who are Black Americans, whatever words you're comfortable with, we won't go to a doctor. A lot of us won't. The men, us men's. We won't go to the doctor. I've had multiple people that have had multiple situations, including myself. We don't trust doctors. We don't trust medical professionals for whatever reason, sometimes valid, sometimes not. We don't trust it. Why can't we, again, for the same people that we would kill for and we'll lay down our lives for, why won't we live better? Even to the point that we buck back on the whole men need to be emotionally intelligent, be emotionally articulate. We even push back on that. So, how much do we love the people we say we love if we can't do, saying? Like, there's something there.
I see what you're saying. Well, the thing is,
wireless woman, hello.
Here's the way I see it is that we love the people who are telling us to make these changes, right? But they're telling us to make these changes for our benefit. I don't think that we love ourselves enough, you know what I'm saying, to make those kind of changes. And that's where the rub comes in. Yeah, we love the people who are telling us to stop these things, but do we love ourselves enough to actually stop? Because if you look at it like, if we love them and we love ourselves enough, the love of two people should be enough, right? But we don't. And I think we take our own lives for granted until that the check comes due. When the check comes due, then we're like, oh man, we're full of regret. I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. So that's just my opinion about it.
Yeah, Harris Tribe Media Group said gave you the flame and the 100. I agree. I know Bree had said the same thing. It's a self-worth thing. Man, it feels awkward to be like, man, I love my people. How can, and again, I'm working through this real time. I came from a biblical background. So they talk about how could you love your brother? How could you love God if you don't love your brother? So then my question then, like on the love tip, on how we love, or what we think is love. How do I actually love all these other people more than I love myself? Like, because why? So how there's a deficiency. There's a deficiency because if I'm loving people outside of myself and I value them more than me, there's a problem. And if this is a thing that a lot of men do, there's something we need to solve, because loving everybody outside of ourselves more than ourselves, to me, it screams we don't really love them the way we think we do. Because I don't believe you can really love people more than you love yourself. Like, I don't and you're like, if there's something you've never built, like if you've never put a desk together, but you're going to tell me that you put great desks together for everybody else, like the skills required would translate. So the emotional skills required to love yourself are what would translate to loving other people, and vice versa. If you're really capable of loving all these people the way we say we do, then we should also be able to love ourselves in that exact same way. So that imbalance doesn't make sense to me. It wouldn't sustain the way it does. So what I think a lot of men do, what we think is love, I don't actually think it is. I don't know what it is. I don't have an answer. I just don't think it's really love, because the love would translate. So that inequity, it couldn't sustain.
I think it's because we get caught up in the acts of service that we do for our families, and we do these acts of services for the people we love because we love them, right? And that is showing love, so that's what that is. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we would do for other people, the people we love, before we do for ourselves. But my thing is, do we value ourselves as much as we value those other people? A lot of times, no. It's not that we don't value ourselves. We don't value ourselves as much as we do the other significant people in our lives. That's what I'm talking about. Like, why wouldn't a person quit smoking when we now know to be an irrefutable fact that cigarettes cause cancer? But people still smoke cigarettes, and fair enough to them. I don't hold anything against them or anything, but it's like, I've seen several married couples, their spouse smokes, and they're like, I really wish you'd stop that. Please stop that. And he can't quit the habit. But real talk, when you look at it, cigarettes are harder to quit than heroin is. Easier to quit heroin than smoking cigarettes. So, I mean, it's a tough one to break, I guess. You know what I'm saying? That nicotine addiction. But that's my answer, man. I think it's because we get caught up in the acts of service of doing for our loved ones. And we can't get in the swing of things and get accustomed to just doing for them. We're on autopilot with it. And, in the long term, and as time goes on, instead of eating a home-cooked meal, we get fast food just to shorten time down. You know what I'm saying? And like Corey Bree says, it's how they value themselves. You might have to sacrifice a little time, to do other things, to go to the gym. You might have to sacrifice the taste of McDonald's, which I don't know anybody who eats McDonald's, but sacrifice some flavor from McDonald's for a rotisserie chicken or a grilled steak. Steak is delicious. I don't know why you have McDonald's when steak exists. I don't understand it. I just you know what I'm saying? It's more expensive, I get it, but steak is out there, dude. And steak is out there, dude. And rotisserie chickens and grilled salmon.
That's fair.
But you choose McDonald's? All right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, suit yourself, but hey, Reckless Logic, how you doing?
Reckless in the building. And did I shout out Wireless Woman? Wireless Woman, thank you for being here. I think I might have said something real quick. And Reckless, thank you so much for coming through. Appreciate you.
I saw your interview with Wireless Woman. Yeah,
What'd you think, man? What'd you think?
She was cool before the interview. After the interview,
she was cool before the interview.
Yeah, she was cool. I was cool with her before the interview. I found out a lot of stuff about her. I was sitting there watching. I was like, but I appreciated her for being candid. She was a cop. You lost a lot of points with that. She was a cop. I said, "What are you doing on our show? You're talking to a cop. She's a cop."
I mean, I'll talk to a cop.
I'm kidding.
I will talk to a cop.
I will too. I'm friends with some of my family members are cops. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a good friend with Nathan Daly. You know what I'm saying? And
some of my best friends are cops.
Right, that whole thing. So but no, I'm picking at her. She's cool too, even still. Yeah. She was a very honest person. I like that interview. She's very open and candid. And I respect that.
And see, Bree, that is exactly. I'm gonna tie this back to a previous question. So this question here: if we're so ready to die and kill, this makes me think about this question here. Do you believe you have to destroy yourself to become something someone else loves? And I think that's what we destroy. We destroy our own self-worth and self-value to become lovable outside of ourselves, to do the things that everybody else wants. Like Yella talking about the things that make them feel comfortable, to make them feel good about themselves. We kill off the part of ourselves that requires anything of anybody, including ourselves. I think that's what we destroy. I think that's what we destroy to become lovable. Generally speaking, not every man does it. A lot of guys have high self-worth, self-value, tend to themselves physically, mentally, emotionally, all that good stuff. But generally speaking, I think a lot of us are so willing to die because we allow something to be killed off in us, or we killed it off ourselves for the world's comfort. We killed off the thing that gives us the will to live. I believe that. I believe it of myself, and I believe that's what goes on in a lot of other people. And I believe so many other people that have to give up a piece of their humanity to earn a living, that dignity. I think a lot of people have taken on that self-destructive mentality where it looks, you're telling yourself, you're treating yourself like McDonald's. I'm treating myself to McDonald's. I'm treating myself to Starbucks, but they're the very things that we know are causing us problems. Where we have like the highest rates of obesity and diabetes, but we know we're getting like a grande frappuccino once or twice a day. Like we do those things that we know are bad, but tell ourselves that we love ourselves. And I think it's actually a lie. I think men are actually lying.
No,
When we hold on, let me finish this point and I'm gonna let you come back.
Go ahead.
I think men are lying to themselves because we don't know any better. I think we're lying to ourselves that we actually love the people we say we love because we won't keep ourselves around to be available for them. Our willingness to kill or to die for some of the most trivial things, or things that are actually important, but will take us away long term, that's not love. So I don't know. And again, I haven't given a lot of thought to what it could be in spite of. I do definitely agree with that brother. He said he had it first. My cup spilled over because I filled my cup first. I was with me before anyone else, including the wife and the kids. And I think that's where a lot of men fail. I don't think we're with ourselves first because we destroy a piece of ourselves that has needs and requirements of our own. So we can show up in the world acceptable. So I think that's our flaw in our love, in men. But man, Joe, I know you had pushback on what I was saying. Go ahead, please.
No, I mean, I forgot what it was now, but
because when I was saying we lied to ourselves, when I said we lied to ourselves,
yeah. Here's the thing. I think that we do things like, for instance, you eat McDonald's because it's comfort food. It hits those taste buds that say good. You know, say it's a dopamine release. You know what I'm saying? It's full of sugar, and sugar is delicious. It makes everything it touches taste delicious, almost everything. But there's some stuff that sugar just don't belong in. It doesn't. But no,
spaghetti.
Well, brown sugar, a little brown sugar in the spaghetti. Take that bite off a little bit, and it has to be mixed well so it doesn't taste sweet. You know what I'm saying? Not white sugar, brown sugar. All right. Anyway, but yeah, we do some of these things because it feels comfortable. Like the trap with cigarettes is that the things that's causing you the problem is also the thing you think is the fix. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't smoke, you get the withdrawal. The people get the withdrawal pains, right? But what's causing the withdrawal pains? So you smoke to keep the withdrawal pains away. But the thing that's causing the withdrawal pains is the cigarettes,
right?
So it's a trap. It's a circle, So I don't think we're lying to ourselves. So I think we know. We eat junk food because it tastes good, but we know it's bad for us. So we know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think. So I think some of us do lie. That's what I'll say. I don't think it's most of us. I think most of us know that what we're doing isn't good for us, but we do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? But as far as if men are so ready, yeah, that's a good question. Like, I want to live for the people I love. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I want to be there to protect them when I need to, if the occasion calls for it. But I want to live for them. Like, yeah, I think that's much better. No, I don't. You're right, but that's why, like, like talking to my lady, right? I told her, I said, listen, I will kill for you, I will die for you, but more important than those two, I will live for you, and that's because she kind of allows me space to do things that keep me grounded in who I am. You know what I'm saying? She gives me the space for that, and I give her the space to do the same thing. You know, I like to do Brazilian jiu-jitsu. She's not interested in it. Cool. So I'm just gonna go do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go do this. Once I'm done, I come back home. You know what I'm saying? I come back when I'm done. Big, you know what I'm saying? Big deal. Like I skydive. She's up in the skydive. She ain't jumping out of no airplanes, right? But she'll come and wait on the ground while I'm up in the air and I'm jumping. She'll come and be on the ground cheering me on, yeah, all that stuff, yeah. She'll come, but I mean, so there's the support there. I mean, you have to allow each other the space to do things that keeps you.
Yeah.
Just like it's what I say about relationships. For both of you, you have to give yourselves the time to make changes and the space to fail. Because you're gonna fail. You're human. We're all human. We're going to stumble. We're gonna fail sometimes. But that's why you got to give that person the space to fail so they can get back up. They'll fall, but you have to give them the space to get back up. And the time to change, because it takes time to change old habits.
Yeah, they die hard.
Yeah, they die hard. Some of them die hard. Yeah, like you're not gonna say, okay, you're not gonna tell your girlfriend or son, here's a couple of things that need to be changed. It could be 3 things. She's not gonna come back in 2 weeks, a totally different person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like 2 months, probably. You know what I'm saying? 2 months, but even then, after 2 months, she may have the occasional lapse. 6 months, definitely gone. If she's been doing the work, definitely gone. 4 months, yeah, it's over. 4 to 6 months, yeah, it's over. Not coming back. If she's been honestly doing the work. They baby mama be like, my baby daddy died for our sins. Oh, wow.
Y'all dirty. Yeah. They talk about martyrdom in the chat. Yeah. They be like, my baby daddy died for us.
Salute to the Harris family. Salute to the Harris family.
Christians want to be like Jesus, and some Muslims do 100 killings, so it's a learned behavior. There's a acculturation. Being the culture produces a lot of these problems. I know that. But we got to start unpacking them. Like, where does this stuff come from? Like, where do these ideas and these feelings come from in us? That's something we have to start doing. We have to start. I mean, that's what therapy does. Therapy is somebody helping you walk through the process of how you started along the process of becoming who you are today, including the problems, the good and the bad. So we need to start unpacking. How did we get here? Like, what were the roots of some of these things? And where is this martyrdom coming from? Jesus complex. Want to be worshipped and sacrificed for the sins of the world. Jesus. They take that be like Jesus too literally. Man, but there's something to it. I know there's something there. And I think y'all right. It's a self-worth issue, but that makes me the self-value, the self-love, that part makes me then question the external love. So I wonder what it is. And that's what I think. It's something in here. The martyr, the opposite of the martyr is also the savior. So I think a lot of the things that we sacrifice in the name of love is the savior complex. It may not, it's an attachment. It's a strong attachment and sacrificial attachment, but it mimics love. It looks like love. It may give us the feelings. It may give us good feels. So like Mandel said about McDonald's, the sugar and the fat and the butter and all that good stuff, it gives us some comfort, even though we know it's unhealthy. And I think that savior complex gives us a lot of those good feelings. It hits our little emotional taste buds just right, but it's not healthy. I think there's something there. I didn't think about this a lot, but it just feels off. I don't want my husband to be Jesus. Damn, we already got Jesus. I need to be a living testimony. Be alive, ninja. Hero archetype. Now I'm with you. I only got a couple more questions. I was going to play this one video, but I'm going to let that go. I think we talked about that part enough. I'm not going to play that little video. Let me see. Let me ask this next question. Metro, if we have had such a long history of men not being able to express their emotions, do we truly know how to love if we've had a part of ourselves handicapped?
You know how to love, but how to express it is a different thing.
Okay,
You know
I
what I'm
like
saying?
that.
There's a there's a difference. Like when I first met my lady, I knew how to love, right? I knew how to love, but it took me time to break down tear away those layers of protection. You know what I'm saying? Because when I love hard, and I have a tendency to go all in. All my chips are on the table, and I'm all in. You know what I'm saying? If I'm committed, Arshawn, I'm committed. That is it. This is what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So, and I take my commitments very, very seriously. So, yeah, I put a bunch of layers around it. That needs to someone who's that committed and that devoted to a person and putting that much of themselves into it. That needs to be protected. You can't give that to everybody. So, yeah, I formed a bunch of layers of protection. So, I worked on myself to tear away those layers so she could see it and experience it. You know what I mean? That's why, like over the few months, this past year, you see me start out in YouTube a year ago, and then everyone would say, "Oh, he's a totally different person now. He is nothing like he was when he first showed up." You know, that's because those were like protected layers to keep people from getting too close. Not getting close, yeah, but too close. You know what I'm saying? But I got myself, but then, so I worked on myself to get those layers taken down. So I knew how to love, but how to express it properly. I knew how to express it, but so many layers of protection, it wasn't coming out. So then I got myself into therapy, start working on it that way. You know what I'm saying? So instead of me working on it on my own, okay, let's get some help here as well. So that, you know what I'm saying? So that I can go ahead and hit the gas. You know what I'm saying? And we can move forward with life. So I think we know how, we can know how to love. There's a lot of brothers out there who don't know how. I admit that, but we can know how to love, but not know how to express it because we hold back. And
Yeah.
you're either out of practice or you never got the opportunity to because you held back from the beginning.
I definitely agree with you. The vulnerability issue is really hard to conquer. Like I said, it's much easier to put up those walls and protect your feelings. After getting hurt, nobody wants to get hurt, but it's really hard. I peeled away a lot of layers. 218 more to go. Same. Last thing I really want to talk about, though, is a little bit of, a little Otis rating. Try a little tenderness. I want to talk about a little tenderness, but I got a couple videos I want to play. They should be short. At least the part of the second one should be short, but I'm trying to... Oh, banners. So I'm looking for banners. We talked a little bit about the way men communicate to each other. Do black men, black especially, but do men need to communicate differently to women and to each other? Not just in real life, but also online, including these panel conversations. Do we need to have like a gender barrier? Do we need to have some kind of protocol for intergender communication or intragender? Like, do we need to develop codes and conducts for how we communicate so that we're better at this, so that we're not doing so much harm to each other?
I'll say this: if you want to communicate with a woman, you need to get your EQ up. Take some classes on emotional intelligence, because you do have to communicate with women differently. You have to speak to her emotions. You could be talking to a woman and be making all the sense in the world, but if you said one word that made them feel different than she felt about the whole rest of the conversation, she'll be stuck right there, that one word. She'll be stuck right there, that one word, and completely miss everything else you said afterwards until you go back and address what made her feel differently. Once you've addressed that, okay, now you can move forward. So you have to be cognizant of not using words that can be triggering to her. You know what I'm saying? The twist is that you have no idea what words are going to be triggering to her. You're not a mind reader. So that's the thing. I think you do, as a man, you do have to learn how to talk to women. This is where your education from women should come from. This is one of the lessons I think you should try to learn from women. How do I communicate with a woman? You know, should we develop codes and stuff like that? Maybe. I think we already kind of have that though, Arshawn. You're supposed to be a gentleman, aren't you? You're not supposed to curse women out and.
You say a gentleman?
Yeah, you're not supposed to curse women out and treat them like trash and call them names and all this stuff, man. I try to be a gentleman. I still open the door for my lady.
Well,
yeah, go somewhere. I open car doors. You know what I'm saying? So you should have seen the stuff she got for Valentine's Day.
Hey,
she got a package still on the way.
That's what's up.
You know what I'm saying? She got another package still on the way. So it's like, I mean, yeah, the art of the gentleman has been lost. No one teaches it anymore. Chivalry, people don't teach it anymore. And it's because when they say chivalry is dead and women killed it, I think there's some validity there. Because I've met women who don't want chivalry. Like, they don't want me to open the doors for them. One chick told me, you don't need to open the door for me. She does not, like, she was serious. She did not. Yeah, she refused to let me open the door for her.
So
I said, listen. I said, hey, listen, this is one of the ABCs of me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to open the door for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to pay for dinner. I'm going to do this. What do you say?
Fuck these naggers.
Okay, Reckless. Listen, you calm down.
I do want to challenge something you said, because earlier you said
go
not
ahead.
getting caught up with your behavior, because that's not who you are. And now you're saying like part of the ABCs of me is this behavior. I'm going to open the door. You don't have to open the door. That's not a must.
No, it's not. But one of the ABCs of me is being a gentleman, or try my best to be a gentleman. You know, and like I said, because of my behavior early when I first showed up on YouTube, now people have the wrong impression of me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not some jerk. And you know, but yeah, you're right. Which one of the ABCs of me? I want to. You're a woman. I want to treat you nice. My question is, why don't you want it?
It's just a door. It sounds like you're putting some extra stank on that door. Like that door means something to you, which it does, like the gentlemanly code and chivalrous code. But you're putting something extra, emotional emphasis on opening that door for her. And if she doesn't prefer that,
well, it wasn't. She doesn't prefer it. But here's the thing: look at where it's got us. Not putting emphasis on small things like that. Opening doors, paying for meals, approaching a woman, making the first move. You know what I'm saying? Look at where it's gotten us. You got night after night, and any given night, you can find a panel of somebody crying about how women aren't this and women aren't that. Women crying about men aren't this, men aren't that. Reckless Logic is right there in the chat right now. Look at what he said. You see what I'm saying? Hey, he meant it. Absolutely. Absolutely. He absolutely meant it. So I mean, that's my thing. Look at where it's gotten us. I just refuse to be a part of the problem. I like being a gentleman. I like taking care of my woman.
All right, that's for you. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's for her, but I get satisfaction out of making my woman happy. I don't necessarily need her to do anything for me. If she's happy with what I'm doing, good enough for me. I'm not a big gifts person. For me, something that's sentimental value is much more important. Because it means something. You know, anybody can just buy you a t-shirt. You know, it's just a shirt to me. But if you plan a lunch for us, you take me out on a date and you pay. Because if I try to pick, because my girl's done that before, I try to pay. No. I'm taking you out. I'll pay. You put that away. Like, she has no idea. I hadn't told her, but she has no clue how far that went with me. Like, to the moon, bruh. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, as I said, she has no clue, because it goes back to us. We don't know how to express. We may have times where we don't know how to express emotions properly for women to really understand how things make us feel. Okay. Yeah, man. I mean, it's not that I'm putting extra stake on it. It's just like, listen, these are my standards. I have a standard. I would like to uphold it. I'm not gonna
take this door opening.
Right.
Take this door open.
Yeah, you're gonna take this door open. You finna take this free dinner. We finna go out and go to a comedy show. You gonna take this free comedy show. You gonna take these roses. You know what I'm saying?
I like it. I like it.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, have some standards. I mean, like, why are your standards so low? You know, I mean, it's just, I may be wrong. I may be wrong. I'm completely prepared to be wrong. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. The StreamYard link is in the chat. Y'all think I'm wrong? Click up here. Our Logic, I'll pray for you.
Man, I was watching Reckless the other night, and they had me so triggered. The little patriarchy in me. It might be the hegemony. I'm not greatest with the terms that came out of feminism, but there was something they were talking about. This woman was like, qualify? What you mean you got to qualify? Like it's a job? I was like, you know what? So Reckless gave me permission. I'm going to react to a couple of moments from that stream at some point. I don't know when, but I will. And I'll definitely let him know that if he wants to shoot through or be a part of the conversation, I would love it. But again, I don't know when. I'll let everybody know when I'm ready to do that. Because man, Mandrell for president. Oh, that didn't even come up yet. I got two screens. YouTube is ahead of StreamYard. But Mandrell for president, there it is. Finally, it's here.
Thank you for your support.
I'm going to bring that same thing. Do we need to communicate differently? I'm going to bring this in, this video in. I'm gonna let a couple minutes of this play because they talk a little bit about male intimacy, amongst ourselves. So I'm gonna let that play for a couple minutes, and I have a really short TikTok that I'm gonna play right behind that.
About men and men not touching each other. And I thought about that. So his book takes us through, the middle passages, and it's graphic and it's in detail and it is evocative and provocative and it's all of the things. And he's talking about this very traumatic experience and all that was lost, but all that we still have and all that we must reclaim and remember. And I was thought about that because I wonder how many of our listeners, male men, who have sons that they never hug, never touch, never hold their hands. And there's not an indictment. It's conditioning, because as soon as he said it, I was like, men ain't gonna do that. That's gay. No man is going to do it, even if they might be homosexual in the Black community, because that's going to be perceived as gay. So we've been so conditioned. But he was talking about how the intimacy of touching is, you lay hands on people. That's the healing process, the chest to chest, heart to heart hug, and he said Black men, they throw up that that arm, the bar in between, the brother man bar. So y'all ain't touching, or you bend over so you make sure no body parts touch. And I think about how self-conscious we are inherently about what it looks like, as opposed to what it should feel like to be touched, admired, loved. And we get it. I think Paw will do it. Grandpa's gonna give you that intimacy, but daddy's not. So therefore, you miss out on something. And if you carry that through generations, just the touch on the head, the kiss on the head, the kiss on the forehead, the embrace. Do we do that to our children? Because that is informing our children of a love that is unbreakable, that the world that you send them out into matters not, because at home, somebody loves them. And if that somebody is daddy, and I had that, right? My father was mildly affectionate, even if he didn't have it, but I was his little girl, and I just remember being on his shoulders. I remember all of the little moments, 3, 4, 5, and I know that both my parents were happy to have me because I could feel it, I can remember being 2. I can remember being 2 in my crib, and they would play cards, smoke cigarettes and all that. So I should have had asthma and stuff. I just remember, but everybody was doing that. I'm sure my mother smoked while she was pregnant too. No indictment. I'm just thinking back, but I can remember being 2 and having intimate moments with my dad and my mom. Like I can remember, and I'm sure that had to have an impact, because I absolutely grew up feeling loved. I knew that somebody loved me, and it made it impossible for me to take on the entire world because ain't nothing nobody out here could tell me about myself. Because when I go home, I'm a hunter. My grandmother, it was her first grandchild, so it was like I could do no wrong.
I'm gonna pause that real quick. I'm gonna go over to this other video. These TikTok. He said TikTok. Hopefully y'all can see it because I can't get the dimensions right on this.
Asked the boys if his dad ever gave him a hug. He said no. Then this happened.
They going to get they hug. Need a hug, bro? Come on, bro. Love you, dog. What's up, y'all? That's what's up.
One of the mentors asked the boys if his
Yeah,
dad
buddy. That is sad. His dad never hugged him, and that's a lot of men have never had such affection from other male family members. I mean, it's just not, again, like the lady said, Karen Hunter talked about, a lot of this stuff is just seen as soft or gay, or there's a lot of negative connotation. And of course, we know that saying gay, there shouldn't be negative connotation to somebody else's lifestyle. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the way we talk about it, we call it soft or feminine or gay. Of course, those should not be derogatory things. Being feminine or gay should not be derogatory. Putting that caveat out there. But that's how we qualify those things a lot of times. So hand holding, kisses, hugs, a lot of those don't get experienced. Tenderness does not get shared amongst men. Me and Inya were doing that experiment where I was complimenting the guys. Now, both Yella and Mandrell took the compliments amazingly. They just took them at face value, I was shocked. I was totally shocked, but they did. They was
why am I gonna get mad? Because you right. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm fly as shit. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm gonna be mad because somebody find me attractive. I don't care who you is. Goddamn it. This sexy translates. Goddamn it. You know what I'm saying? What language you speaking in? Shit. Huh?
Bro holding. Let's make it a thing. I mean, see, and I wanted to resist that just naturally. I wanted to resist it, even though I'm the one putting it out there. I wanted to resist that. It feels awkward. It feels weird. There's this conditioning, whatever it is, it feels off. But I know it's something that we do. I think we need to, like Yella said earlier, even the way we communicate with each other and put expectations on each other, we need to be more humane. We need to treat men and women both. Through our words, through our deeds, we need to be able to translate humanity amongst each other in the way we do everything. Men don't hold their son's hand up to the age of 7. Is that a command like men do not hold your son's hand at the age of 7? Or are you saying they don't? Or like I'm not sure exactly how you meant that. Either way, there's a level of tenderness that we do not exhibit to each other, and you see it play out in other realms through conversation. You see it we don't even acknowledge each other in the street a lot of times. So I just thought that was interesting, and because we talked a little bit about the way men communicate with each other, the way that gets translated over to women, how women start communicating back with us. Like it's all connected. None of it separated. Okay, you're saying they should not hold your son's hand at the age of 7. Well, I don't think there's an arbitrary, for me. I'm not going to disagree with you flat out. I'm just going to say I don't think there's a number, an arbitrary number that you can say you should stop doing certain. For me, I'll say with my nephew. For me, it was when he no longer needed that as affirmation or validation or whatever. Like he's scared of something. Around 10, 11 is where he kind of pulled back, like physical touch. No hugs, tickling. He kind of pushed back, and I respected his space on that. But up until the end, I'm not going to just withdraw effect, like physical affectionate touch or playfulness. I'm not going to withdraw that until it's a boundary for you. So like an age 6, 7, 5, 12, I wouldn't do that. But I respect that that's your opinion. Like it's such sexual. Why should it?
I will flat out disagree with that. That was the 7.
Good point, bro.
Like he a child, bro. Like what difference is it gonna make from 6 to 8 if you hold his hand? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. See, that's what pisses me off as a dad. That would piss me off as a son, bro. Man, look, I'm gonna tell y'all some shit, bro. My dad gave me the biggest fucking hug the other day. Now I'm 35. Biggest damn hug. And guess what? I wish a nigga would say something. Because me and him will jump your ass. Now, what you want to do? Because it ain't nothing soft about it. It ain't nothing funny acting about it. Ain't nothing about it. That's why a lot of these niggas be out here fucked up. You know, disconnect affection from them at 7. Then what you gonna do? Just become you gonna go from playing with him to becoming a tyrant.
Bree said, to this day. You talking about hand holding.
Man, it don't matter.
Yeah.
It don't matter.
Touch to me.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Talking about can't
like
hold his hand.
Yeah, that's what I was saying was I'm not gonna try to knock that's Roberto's perspective. You know, he's open to it. I'm just saying for me, I couldn't place a rule where I remove an aspect of the relationship based upon the number of an age. Like, you know, I don't, that concept doesn't make any sense.
Man,
okay,
look,
like
I'm not finna remove nothing.
You reached 12 and 5/8. And at this point, I cannot look you directly in the eye for more than 3.6 seconds. You know, like that, we get into little weird granular stuff like that. As soon as you turn 7, I can't hold your hand. Again, if that's on for you, that's cool. But for me, I would not remove, like, okay, what age do you take away hugs?
Because think about it like this. You gonna want him to hold your hand on your fucking deathbed, ain't you? You gonna be too masculine to hold your hand in? It's stupid. I'm sorry. It was dumb. Because the only reason you're moving that level of level with your son is for your comfort. He's 7. That's your comfort. That's your issue. Don't project that on me and talk about you shouldn't hold it. You shouldn't hold their hand after the 8. That's your uncomfortability. Don't come in projecting that shit. That shit's weird. I'm sorry. I'm finna start calling out all weird shit I fucking see. That shit's weird. That's your own insecure ass projection talking about don't hold your son hand past 7. 7? Not 17. Not 27. Not 37, but 7. When he probably still think he a Power Ranger or some shit. You want to take that. You want to take affection away from him to try to man him up, right? Because you don't want to get looked at crazy because you holding your son hand in public. Fuck out of here, man. These dads weird as fuck, bro.
It would be the child finding his own boundary, but typically if it's normal behavior in the home, it doesn't become weird. I agree. Like I said, I don't think the arbitrary age thing is when the child becomes uncomfortable. And for me, I know it will become uncomfortable for a male child anyway, because once the peer influence starts hitting, they ain't gonna want you holding them and picking them up too much. It's just like the world's gonna tell you it's weird anyway. The world's gonna tell you it's weird. So I didn't feel the need to try to the whole number thing. I couldn't do that. Devil's advocate here. Now, what age do we have rites of passage? If there are any in the Black community, what are they? Man, no. And I talk about that quite a bit. We don't have any. America, the culture in America, we don't really have rites of passage. Not official. Not anything official. There are the unofficial rites of passage, like trying to get a girl, having sex. That's one of the unofficial rites of passage in the manhood in America, in the Black community. All the kind of little goofy stuff like that. Doing something reckless. Typically something reckless. Yeah,
what's 7. The purpose? What would be the?
They still want to be Power Rangers.
I might be on one right now. That's kind of why I had to make a run. Plus, I felt myself getting a bit preachy and ranty earlier. Then I come back and I feel like that's probably the energy that I need to like provide right here. What the hell? What is rites of passage?
A rites of passage. Let me just look it up. High definition moment.
High definition.
Like, make sure. make sure you subscribe to Yellow Pill Coffee Co. Rite of passage. I'm going to get the proper. I'm not going to make it up. A rite of passage, excuse me, is a ritual that marks a change in a person's social or sexual status. Rites of passage are often ceremonies surrounding events such as childbirth, puberty, coming of age, marriages, or death. The term was popularized by German ethnographer Arnold van Gennep in the early part of the 20th century. So, the rite of passage, I know a lot of African traditions, a lot of agrarian type societies where people lived off the land. There was a lot of hunting, like, killing a specific animal type rites of passage, some kind of like body marking or tattoo, something along those. There were lots of different types of things around rites of passage. Bar and bat mitzvahs in the, in your peoples. Shalom.
L'chaim, motherfucker.
It's problematic because now your manhood is still tied to women deciding you're a man. What I miss? Hold up.
And that's kind of where I was.
Oh, the sex. Oh, when I was talking about the sex. I was talking about the sex.
And my thing
Roberto
is,
wants to know. Go ahead.
Why you sounded hyper masculine but have a problem with me being masculine with my son? That's the problem. You have the insecurity with holding hands with your son. I don't have it. If I come across hyper masculine, it's because I think you have a problem with gauging masculinity. Because being sick of somebody's shit ain't gender specific. So yeah, you can take it. You can take it as it's perspective. You can take it as hyper masculinity, or you can take it as one human peeping that the other human says some dumb shit. However you want to take it. But like I don't know. I'm really not feeling all it, because all of that shit is pretty much why we in the same position we in now. That's pretty much why we having all these talks about like rites of passage and all that other shit. Like, we don't have to prove shit. We ain't got to go hunt the buffalo to eat. Okay? We don't have to go through the fire to please the God so we can get the rain. We don't. We just got to be people now. Because then if it's rites of passage, that means I have to go through these certain standard steps to try to qualify my masculinity or me being a man for everybody else. Fuck your right. The rites of passage, because to me, rites of passage is just you did the things for everybody to accept you. You talking about you gonna jump people? I mean, yeah, that ain't gotta be masculine. That's me. Shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying this. If you looking at me hugging my dad or me holding my son's hand as a problem, then there's something wrong with you, because you think that there's something wrong with that. You think there's some level of softness. So if you look at that as soft, that means you might try it. And keep looking at niggas who do things differently as soft, and that's why it become a problem. Because see, the thing about it is that you thought wasn't nobody gonna challenge that shit for real. That man, look, hold on. Let me cam up so motherfuckers think I ain't playing. Problem is with you niggas is y'all think won't nobody challenge y'all motherfucking stance for real because everybody's supposed to respect your masculinity. It was dumb. As a man, realize you said some dumb shit. Accept it, learn from it, and move forward. That's all you can do. Because the problem with what you said is inferring some type of softness behind it. So if you see that image, you might think it's something that you can go ahead and make a move on. Let's try it. Let's try to alleviate the dumb shit. Maybe we'll make more progress. Because this is where we get into the take the meat and spit out the bones. No, throw the whole goddamn chicken leg away. The meat is spoiled. It's attached to a spoiled bone. Because you came in trying to make it a men thing. Now, if you said, hey, I probably wouldn't hold my son's hand past the age of 7, then cool. I probably wouldn't have had I wouldn't have no smoke for you. Because that'd have been your individual stance on how you move, because that's what you're trying to do. Now you're trying to backpedal. Why are you trying to be high masculine about the way y'all treat my son? Nah, nigga, you tried to come in and project your masculinity and how men should act. Because if you pull up the comments, you said men don't hold your hand, son, at the age of 7, which means you was trying to come in and teach. You was trying to come in and project that shit on everybody. So instead of understanding where you stepped in the shit, don't tell me that I stepped in the shit. Now back to my tacos.
Shout out to Conscious TV in the building. Now I wanted to let that go because there are some things we need to talk about in that conversation. I'm waiting for Roberto's comment to come up because let me see. That's like me getting mad because someone said you shouldn't let your daughter sit on your lap after a certain age. That's slightly different, Roberto. But holding your son's hand and your daughter sitting on male laps is I would die on the heel of thinking that those are totally different things. My only issue with what you said was that you put an arbitrary number on holding your son's hand, 7. Like that's kind of weird. I mean, and I know we keep saying the weird. Let me use better language. Arbitrary is the proper word. It doesn't have any rhyme or reason to it. You just like made up a number. You can make up any number. You shouldn't hold your son's hand at 2, after 3, after 7, after 10, after 12. You say any number and it still can make sense if you believe in just random numbers. I'm pretty sure that you don't have any scientific grounding for holding your hand after 7 does something. If a man holds his son's hand after the age of 7, he's 12 times more likely to engage in criminal activity. Like I'm sure there was nothing attached to that. So it's just your perspective. That's just how you feel about it. I'm cool with letting it go. Yella wanted to, he wanted to tap in further on it. But because Bree, weird doesn't mean anything. Weird just means I don't like it. So weird is not really good language as far as any information. As far as the dissemination of information, weird, strange, goofy, that stuff just doesn't have any real relevance. It doesn't have any utility. But we know that just making up a number like 7 or 12, it doesn't have any real weight to it. But what does have weight, if you're treating your son like a human being, when he pulls back from physical touch because he is uncomfortable because of some feedback from the world or something of that nature, then you allow him to be human enough and respect their boundaries that they're establishing. They're going to start establishing boundaries at some point in their development anyway. That's a real thing. That's scientific. You're going to start mentally having individuation. You're mentally going to start setting up boundaries. You're eventually scientifically going to start finding where you are in the social hierarchies that you're in school, in life. Those are things we can prove and evaluate and measure over time. There is no set number to it, like 7 or 12, but they are typically in certain age ranges. And at such time that young male child no longer wants to engage in physical touch as a form of affection, cool. I'm with that. That's what I said. My nephew was like 10 when he was don't touch me. But I'm saying saying the number 7 for me is problematic because you may remove physical touch as a way to engage with your child affectionately before they're ready. And the reason that could be a problem, scientifically, psychologically, you could create attachment style issues because you've been an affectionate parent for so many years of their life. Then you withdraw the affection in the same zones of love or same activity, they're getting a different outcome. Then you create an attachment style, and you can look up the attachment styles. I don't know exactly which one it is. It might be avoidant or insecure. When a parent is constantly present and then withdraws and present and withdraws, if you all of a sudden change your style up, you create a psychological, I can't think of the word, but you create a difference in the child's psychology while they're still developing by withdrawing affection, physical touch at just an age, just based on a number, based on a birth date, based on where the calendar fell when they were birthed. So that's why it's a problem for me. based on real things, real science, real psychology, things that have been studied. I don't know where your 7 came in. There have always been written rules in life. That's life. You know, I've never seen that anywhere. But if you can point us out to something, go ahead.
Oh man, can attachment? Is it attachment? Is it an attachment style called Black Father? Because that's what that sounds like. Inconsistent and insecure as fuck.
It happens a lot. But
that's why they drag the shit out of us. That's why they drag the shit out of us, boy. I'm sorry, man. That's why they drag the shit out of us, bro. That's exactly why they drag the shit out of us. Because it ain't just him. It ain't just like his idea. That's the basis of where we. That's literally why we're sitting here right now.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, and I get why you feel the way you feel. I'm just trying to be straight up about it because that's a good opportunity. Yeah.
That's why I hang with you. Like, you say it so much better than I do. That's why everybody think I'm so confrontational. You say it so much better than me. Like, it's so much. Hey, the delivery. It's like this is FedEx. This is Amazon. You know what I'm saying? I'm a regular old bike carrier. Goddamn it, your shit gonna get there maybe on time. It's gonna be shook up. It might be broke. Yeah, right. I ain't really got there yet. Really got there.
No, that's not. I promise you. I appreciate it. It's not maturity. It's not maturity, and I say it better. I'm saying it differently for a reason because my gut reaction is the same as yours. That's weird. But if all of us just keep saying that's weird, whether it's Roberto or anybody else that's listening, they don't come away. Well, why is that weird? So then it just sounds like shaming language.
Hey, you smart enough to say that shit. Go figure it out. Go figure out why it ain't weird. That's the niggas that I ain't trying to teach. No, exactly. But them the niggas that I ain't trying to teach. Them the niggas that I ain't trying to teach. And them niggas I ain't trying to teach. I ain't trying to help. I ain't trying to learn from it because the consist. Remember I said earlier, the track record of stupid must be taken into consideration. If every time you come around, you got some stupid to serve up, I'm like, no, you can't play. Sorry, you can't come play with us.
I got you, but everybody listening doesn't feel the same way. But some people might be close. They might be on the borderline. They might be in between. They might hear that and take it seriously and just hear us because there's also, again, taking in psychology. If somebody comes in and says something and then everybody jumps down their throat as soon as they say it, that also looks away too. Like, oh, well, maybe they were onto something. Hit dogs holler. We have a lot of language about that when everybody automatically gets up as soon as somebody says one thing that seemingly innocuous. So if he says that, everybody, okay, well, maybe there might be some religious thinking, there might be some political thinking. So I want to separate it out and say, like, okay, let's actually unpack the layers. Where does this kind of thinking come from? Does it serve any utility? So that people can see that there's actually a logic behind what I'm saying and not just me calling it weird for the sake of being weird. It actually just don't make sense. Like scientifically, psychologically, sociologically, there's no value to it on any of the levels that you might look at it on. And that way they could be like, oh, okay, well, I can see why they're saying that the 7 is weird. It actually just doesn't have any value to an actual human being. You know what I'm saying? But that's all. So everybody else Roberto may never change his perspective. He may never. But if he is open to hearing a different perspective, is open to changing his mind, then he's heard actual arguments as opposed to being called weird, which is going to make me dig in. You start calling me weird, I'm digging in. I'm digging the trench and hunkering down. And again, I don't want to call that maturity because I'm ignorant too. My first response was the same response, but I'm like, you know what? Let me take a different path. Yeah. And see, I wish Conscious was up here so I could hear that. Because he'd be like, yellow pill. I can't do the voice right. Yellow pill. Gives it to you straight from the hip. Rashawn gives it to you academic like, and man, Joe just nods in agreement for emotional support. Boy, like, why does he feel that way? That's not a rule per se. So where did the thought process come from? The Wu-Tang Clan or the pastor? See, that's why it should be discussed.
Ow.
See, yeah, I like it though. I mean, but that's real stuff. These kind of unwritten rules do come up and they do harm us. They do actually cause harm in us as children. When somebody has someone like I promise you, I quit dating a girl because she punched her son in the chest. She's like, well, his father's not around, I got to teach him how to be a man. And I'm like, what is punching him in the chest? He's a toddler. What is punching him in the chest teach him? How does that teach him how to be a man? Like, it don't make sense. So we started adopting faulty logic. We start absorbing bad information and make it rules for life by these streets. And everybody starts grooming their children off of just bad info. Bad. I mean, just it doesn't even make sense. There's no reason for it. You haven't seen it work in anywhere in your life. What you want to do, the thought process is you're trying to toughen them up. I mean, if we're scared that they're not going to be tough enough to handle the world. That's where a lot of this stuff comes from. Just with it's fear, but like you called it insecurity. There's a lot of insecurity around parenting, and we handle it maladaptively. We handle it the wrong way. Rules for life.
Because guess what?
Bitch, what?
I know. I'm comfortable in the fact that I'm gonna try to teach my son every lesson I can. Right? I can prepare him as much as I can. The world makes you a man. Life experiences makes you the man that you are. You get all the lessons and all the teaching you want. I can sit down and write it out step by step. All the shit that I went through. But guess what? The one thing that's going to make my son the man that he is, it's going to be his lived experience. It's going to be the happiness. It's going to be the pain. It's going to be the good shit. It's going to be the bad shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's the beauty of it, man. That's the beauty of becoming anybody, bro. That's the beauty of living. You ain't gotta be in no box to make nobody feel comfortable. Because then that's another layer of feeling comfortable. That's one thing I loved. That's one thing I love about my father. My father ain't never got a problem with the man. It don't matter where I'm at in life. Because my standing in life don't have nothing to do with how he felt about me. I don't have to prove. He told me, you ain't got to prove nothing to me, son. You don't have to prove nothing to me. You don't look. I'm just glad you're here. You alive. That's the best I can ask for. You alive and you here with me. I'm gonna do the same thing. I can't hold him to no standard. He gonna be dope regardless, because I mean, you know, he came from me, but you know what I'm saying? I can't force him who to be. I can't make him be the man. I can give you the textbook. We forget a bunch of shit we learned in school. Most of us can't even write proper cursive no more. So all that teaching and all that learning and shit we get when we younger don't mean shit, because once you get in the real word, all you do is write your first initial, scribble line, second initial, squiggle line. Look at Rashawn trying to write his name in cursive right now.
No, I just me and my nephew, that just happened. I promise. Nah, you're right. Go ahead.
No, I'm like I said, I'm more or less being ranty right now. So please, everybody else jump in, please.
The only thing, when you said about this was a joke side note. My nephew, I thought I had taken a screenshot of it. Somebody had sent him a card and it was in cursive and he couldn't read it. And I was like, what? It's like, what? I was like, you gotta be kidding. He was like, we only like spent 1 week on cursive. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm bad at it because we only spent 1 month on it. I can read it fine. Writing it, it's a little sus.
How?
We only spent 1 month in 5th grade. 5th grade is the only time I spent on cursive in my entire life. And it was 1 month.
Wow.
I
didn't know they were doing it like that.
Yeah, about 3 months. About 3 months. We worked on it because it was something that we was like doing within our assignments as well. Like once we passed that lesson, we went on to something else. Because in reality, how often do you write full things in cursive outside of your name?
I do all the time.
See,
You
I mean,
writing
but the way
full
you talked
things
about
in
gallantry,
cursive?
you didn't hear his part about chivalry.
Here's the thing. Yeah, like okay, take Valentine's Day, right?
He got a scroll.
I sent my girl.
Hey,
I sent my girl a whole bunch of gifts, right? Like I said, one of them still on the way to her. It'll be there tomorrow. But every gift I bought her, I had its own individual card, and in these cards, most of them I wrote my own shit in. You know, the card has what it says, but then I write something in there too. You know what I'm saying? I wrote it in cursive. Anytime I write in cursive for the most part. I don't
That's
know.
Because it looked romantic. That's because it looked romantic.
Exactly.
You ain't see my cursive handwriting, man. You ain't see my penmanship. Like, damn, you see my penmanship. You're like, damn, Mandrell, a doctor. Like, man, no, I'm not a doctor.
Bree say I write in cursive. Bree, if you wrote me a letter in cursive, that motherfucker never get read. I promise.
I think you guys should get back in the practice of writing cursive, man. I mean,
damn that cursive. Yeah, them capital letters do not be connected, y'all. I know them capital letters don't be connected, y'all. That ain't cursive.
I do want to address two things in the chat. Now, Inya, I know you get sensitive when I critique anything you say. Do not get sensitive. This is not about you. This is just about the point. I want you to take this to heart, though, but I don't want you to think it's about you as a human being. So please just stop ahead of time. Just stop right now. Stop getting nervous. Stop. Now, do not use these words in a sentence ever again. Anybody in the chat? The Black community is the only one common community that does X. Black people are the only ones that do Z. Don't say it. Don't believe it. It's not true. Somebody just did a whole live stream. I can't even remember who it was that was showing other groups of people doing the things that everybody says that we're the only ones that do. Everybody does. We're human. We're not special. We're not aliens. We're not animals. We're humans. Everything that humans do, we're capable of doing. Anything that a Black person does, somebody else, I guarantee, is doing it. Even people that don't have 4C hair types are wearing do-rags. So there's nothing that we do that's special only to us, including our ills, even our societal problems within Blackness. Other people have those exact same ones. And again, all the people that say that Black people are the only ones doing it are typically not around other people anyway to see what other people do. One of the Blackest people I know is an Asian woman. As far as that, what you is stereotypically Black, Asian woman, Black, I mean, not skin. That's not skin. I mean, what you like, oh, if you heard somebody on the phone or you told how they live their life, you were like, oh, that's a Black person. No, not at all. 100% Asian. Vietnamese or something like that. Black, I mean, as far as the culture, pure Black. But we have to stop thinking that we're the only ones that do anything. We're not the only ones that are having problems. We're not the only ones having the manosphere conversations. That was the video. We're not the only ones having the manosphere conversations. We're not the only ones having arguments on panels. We're not the only ones with the birth rate issues. We're not the only ones having abortions. We're not the only ones on welfare. None of the stuff that we do is specific to us. We just do it in high disproportionate rates than other groups of people. Higher proportions, but the same actions. But Mandrell, Inya wanted to hear your perspective on that whole, Roberto's perspective, being that you were in the military. I think they teach men a certain way regarding affection. What's your opinion on that affection conversation?
The military doesn't teach you anything about affection.
Okay.
Nothing. You learn nothing about affection in the military. Like at all. Nothing. Okay. It's not a thing in the military. Affection. Okay. No one's holding hands. No one's hugging. In the military, no, that doesn't exist. You have to learn that somewhere else. But yeah, a father, I think a father should hug his son. My father and I hugged only a few times in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? The most memorable ones when I was about to leave my first deployment. And that was the first time I ever saw tears in his eyes. They weren't running down his cheeks, but his eyes welled up with water. It's the first time I ever saw that. Never saw the man cry. None of that. Just that was the first time I was, and so it hit different. You know what I'm saying? You know, because he knew them. Hey, he probably ain't coming back. You know what I'm saying? He might not. He knew his son might not be coming back home. So, and this might be the last time he saw me. And it was kind of awkward because he didn't really. You can tell he really didn't know what to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but we did hug. We have hugged a few times in my life, but it wasn't an everyday thing. I'm okay with it. If a father wants to hug his son, hug your son. I think we should do more of that to learn up what affection is coming from a man. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, a lot of us, his father didn't hug him, so he didn't know what to do. You know, with me, I don't know what to do. You know, so to alleviate that, I think fathers should be a lot more affectionate to their sons, so they know that the discipline and structure, even when it's harsh, it's all coming from a good place. It's all coming from a place of love, as opposed to I'm just whooping your ass because you bad. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll know, hey, listen, I'm doing this with love, man. I mean, I hate to do it, but you got to suffer the consequences for your actions. That's the kind of lessons kids need to learn. This is coming as a consequence of my bad behavior. He doesn't want to do it, but he has to because he loves me. You know what I'm saying? But we don't get that as kids if you just whoop us because we did something bad. How do we know the difference? You know? But yeah, affection from men, it should be long answer short. Definitely need more of that. And it should not be seen as weak or gay or anything like that, because it's got nothing to do with weak or gay. It's got nothing to do with it. You know, I think that's just immature.
Man, you know what? I'm still bothered by the booty taps by high school basketball. I still don't understand the basketball booty taps. I don't get that. I've never got that. I remember the first time somebody did that. Nah, it's not just a thing. It was not like, why?
I'm gonna do the thing.
Good game and slap my butt.
As an athlete, it's just a thing. I don't know why. Yeah, I've slapped some ass in congratulations. You know what I'm saying?
The way he said it. The way he said it.
That's why I said it like that. Hey, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's a camaraderie thing.
Team sportsmanship.
And look at Bree.
Right,
look at Bree. Booties and soft.
Women bump boobs up the cheerleaders. I had no idea.
I mean, if they do, I'm gonna join cheerleading again. I ain't see that part.
You missed that.
I was never good enough at basketball to make a basketball team.
I mean, okay. Here's where I'm gonna go into the sports.
Played football, but basketball.
Since we there,
don't they slap on the butt in football too?
Yeah. No, I mean, dude, most of football is sus. It's a bunch of men running around with tight pants on, tackling each other. Okay. Think about this. The highest paid player on the field is a quarterback, right? What's the main thing a quarterback
hands
do?
Between the legs.
Go walk up behind some man, and the way you do it, and I'm going to explain it, and I'm going to get visual. So the top hand, back hand, goes right up against their butt.
In that crease.
They go right up there.
Mm-hmm.
The other hand is right down there so you can get the ball. People pay millions of dollars. Get paid millions of dollars to do that. Sports is sus, okay? Wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan. It's basically big oily men. It's big oily men in tights bumping man meat.
In underwear.
Big men bumping man meat.
Look at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
The booty taps are just
you'll be hard pressed to find you'd be hard pressed. You'd be hard pressed to find a sport. You'd be hard pressed to find a martial art that's more gay than Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, you really would, dude. And some of the positions that some of those guys get caught up in, you're like, man, look, I'm glad it ain't me. You know what I'm saying? You're thinking that. So, like, it is good to watch it because, you know, I don't want to end up in that position. I don't want somebody nuts in my face. No.
You say that's why women not allowed to play football? No, it's the tackling part. I'm pretty sure women would be.
Y'all get hurt.
Y'all would be the top ball snappers in the league, boy. Look, everybody want to play quarterback if y'all was playing.
But now, Conscious makes a good point. Like I didn't ever think about that. It's to like the hypermasculinity. It's like the inversion of the hypermasculinity. I kind of that makes some in a weird way that kind of makes sense. That's interesting. I kind of believe it. I just feel like that just makes a little bit like psychologically. I just feel like it makes sense, like an offset. Who invented that brand of football? I don't know. And men flock to watch and bet. Yep. Both used to involve grabbing the
wear
thigh
their
of the other
jerseys
person.
too. You see my Bears hat up there? Put the jersey in too. Yeah.
Like Summer said, football is for the feet. American football is a hand egg. Jesus Christ.
First of all, okay.
Right. So disrespectful. But wrestling did get ruined for me when somebody pointed out to me that I was watching a bunch of men in underwear oil themselves up to go grab each other. I was like, that does.
See?
But again, that goes back to the whole thing, like that whole perceived softness and perceived like the way our minds work, like the conditioning. Like I went from honestly loving wrestling to being put off by it because that one thought got put in my head.
I mean, you look at the commentary. You ever heard a commentary be like, Yella's taking on a tough D tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. Right. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that but that is also where you have to separate yourself. Right. And I think that's why at certain points you realize that you just okay with it. Like let's use wrestling for example. Look at a lot of wrestling fans, right? A lot of wrestling fans are very much like inclusive. You know what I'm saying? Very understanding of people. Like we understand people's plights. Like the wrestling community is a way because if we thought like that, we would just be turned off to the product probably. You know what I'm saying? We got to look past not only the fact that it's a 6'4" dude going up against a 6'9" dude, and they both oiled up in they speedos, right? We gotta get past that first. Then we gotta realize is predetermined. It's just sometimes you just gotta accept what's in front of you and enjoy it. Enjoy the story that's being told.
Yeah.
Quit trying to overanalyze. Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead. No, go. You can finish, please.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's basically like it's always to me. It's always been an equation of life, man. Enjoy the story being enjoy the story being told in front of you. Enjoy the life that you live in. Enjoy what's in front of you right now. Stop trying to overanalyze it. You know what I'm saying? Stop trying to deconstruct it. Just enjoy the story that's being told. Because once you try to, and I'm not saying don't go find the truth, because some people will take that and hear the wrong thing, right? Not seeking the truth and all that. Like some people are hear that and say the wrong thing. But some things just are what they are. And those are the best things in life. The things that just are what they are the best things in life. Don't overanalyze them. Don't wonder why they're there. If you wonder why rose grew, you take away from the beauty of the rose. Just let the rose grow.
One thing I was gonna say, man, because when we were talking about that, it just reminded me of the "don't hold your hand after 7" thing. Like all of the stigma we put around bodies, like all of the shame that we put around existing in your body, like to automatically turn off from wrestling when somebody pointed out to me it's a bunch of dudes in underwear oiling themselves up to go grab on each other. And I was like, immediately, like, why does that influence like my enjoyment of something? Like, but even like that shame, that instant shame and the sexualization, the shame and sexualization that gets put into
it was meant to do that. Because it was meant to do that. Because it was meant to do that. Like, for real. That's the whole objective. Like, and I know this, Craig. Y'all be like, this nigga talking about wrestling. That's the whole objective. The whole objective of somebody telling you that was to deter you from watching that, was to shit on what they thought. It was their insecurity projecting on you. It's the same way, because it's crazy that motherfuckers still do that shit. Like, it's crazy as fuck that people still try to tell motherfuckers that wrestling is fake. Like, if you hear two grown motherfuckers talking, like, the weirdest thing is, like, I'll be talking to one of my buddies, and then the worst thing, y'all know that shit fake. You know we grown as fuck, right? Like, and that's why I had to, if anybody got something to say about it, you'll get jumped. Because your ass decided to come over here and inflict some knowledge. You tried to come over and teach something to people who already knew it. We just watching the rose grow. You know what I'm saying? We just enjoying it. You want to come project your insecurities on us by letting us know it's fake. That's because you feel some type of way about it. So it's the same thing with like, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with people who be like, yeah. It's the same thing with people who be like, I don't understand why a grown man wearing another man's jersey. It's no different from the label that you wearing. Why is me wearing a jersey with somebody's name on it different from the Chanel bag that you carry? But see, you want to judge it and make it a weird thing. Because of how people want to sit back and enjoy it.
Yeah, and conscious, that's I think where we need to migrate to mentally. Like eventually, I think that's where the goal should be. But I think a lot of us, like myself included, like I threw myself in there. I was one of those people that was susceptible to that whole shame and around body. Like it's just a body, and if we had less sexualization and shame around body, I think a lot of friction that we go through mentally, psychologically, a lot of that emotional damage that we take, because so much, like we talk about colorism, featureism, we talk about beauty standards. There's stuff with men and men having to be certain types to feel good about themselves. I know people that are slim dudes that don't like taking the shirt off. Like, people say bird chest. Like there's a lot of shame and stigma around body and sexualization around body that prevents us from, again, sometimes just tapping into basic humanity. Like y'all said, like even Conscious put in that thing about the butt slapping, like offsetting the hypermasculinity, something I never even considered, because immediately I'm put off. Why y'all butt slapping? It's extra. Why you even doing it? Like, why you got to touch my butt? It was a good play. Just say good play, high five, hey, bow. And we can stay, like, keep it up here. Bam, not down here. Boom. Not.
He said not down here.
Yeah, keep it up here. Not down there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think different, but I know I've taken a lot of the Kool-Aid over the years. Yeah, you can't do gymnastics in jeans and a turtleneck. Not well. I mean, picture that.
Now the thing I will say is conscious, you was right about like the kind of like outfits that people wear to show a form. The only one I would say that's not really so much is WWE, because wrestling, unfortunately at a high level, wrestling becomes an aesthetic sport over a talent sport. It's a lot of super talented independent wrestlers that's not really there, and it's a lot of wrestlers that they made it because they fit the aesthetic. That's just been like they fit the aesthetic, but they horrible in the ring, right? And eventually in time that shows itself. But I will say that that's the only one that like goes right into like what Rashawn is talking about, where it's at a higher level, it goes into the aesthetic, like it goes into the over sexualized, and it goes into like, you know what I'm saying, the hyper unrealistic body image and shit like that, because those are typically the people that's pushed. You know what I'm saying? So it's a dangerous slope too. Like it has its shadow. You know what I'm saying? It is for form, because you want to see people and people want to show off their physiques and you want to see the impact and all that. But it does. I guess that's where it becomes problematic. You know what I'm saying? So what?
She said padded wrestling. It just don't. It don't. It
I'm
don't hit the
grateful
same.
for Enya. I am so grateful
So
for Enya.
innocent.
Enya, I
So
am so
innocent.
grateful for you. I promise you. For all the toxicity, you come clean us right up. You purify the conversation sometimes, and I appreciate it. I
I
do.
like that. I think that might be the next thing. Working on like the shame, the stigma, and the sexualization, like them S's. We might need to work on those, like mentally, societally. Like that might be something that we need to. I mean, because I feel like that's at the root of a lot of our problems: shame, stigma, and sexualization. Them three right there, boy. I feel like them are at the root of a lot of problems. But fellas, I really enjoyed this conversation. We getting ready to get up out of here. Get up out here in a minute. I want y'all to give y'all's, last final closing thoughts and shout outs channels. Real quick before we do that, anybody that's watching, like pause for a quick second. I do not know for sure. I might be off next week. I might not do the YouTubes next week. I might not. I'm just putting a bug in your ear. So I'll put thumbnails out at least a couple days in advance. If I'm actually going to be here next week, I will let y'all know. I want to let y'all know also, one of my last posts on my community tab was linking to Mandrell's last show on morality, which again, I think we need to see more conversations about things that actually matter. So again, the people I rock with are the people I rock with for a reason. And I ding, not that I want to, ding the spaces that are just like a lot of loose talk, which is cool. It has its place. But I really want us to come away with something beneficial to our long term, which is why I said about the 7-year-old thing. That's not really beneficial, but knowing when the person is setting up boundaries, that actually is beneficial, not just to you, but to them. Learning boundaries and being able to respect those, that's something useful in your everyday life with everybody you encounter. So that's very useful, has a lot of utility. But gentlemen, go ahead and start with you, Yella the Fella. When is your next planned stream? What and your final thoughts, if you don't mind?
My next planned stream is I don't know. I'm terrible. I haven't planned anything in months. I just show up. It's internet, so I just show up. People show up. I am gonna get better with that. I'm gonna get back on my scheduling thing. But y'all just look for me to pop up. I'll be there. Hopefully you got the notification bell hit so you'll see when I pop up. So from this conversation though, man, this was dope, man. Like I said, it was energetic, it was passionate. Apparently at times it got a bit hyper masculine and uncomfortable for people. But when you want to project your insecurities on people, these are typically the results. So don't do that. Don't be insecure. Learn to live with yourself. Learn to love yourself, man. Men, love yourself. And not in that way. Because apparently that's wrong. But if that's the way you got to, cool. All right, you want to pull me down now? Because, yeah.
What's wrong with you?
A lot.
I hate ninjas.
Swear to God. God. Man, Jarrell, man, appreciate you for coming through, man. Go ahead and give us your final thoughts, and then shout out the good work you're doing in these other YouTube streets.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. Thanks to Yellow Pill for joining the conversation. Always a pleasure talking to you guys. Like for real, I have more fun here than I can describe. Like seriously, but yeah, everybody, if you have a son, hug him, tell him you love him, because boys don't hear that enough, and we don't know how much damage we're actually doing by neglecting that. That's something the boys need to hear from their fathers as well, because you don't want your son growing up unsure if his father loved him. That's kind of messed up. There's other ways to teach your son to be hard and prepare for the world than beating them and neglecting affection. Other than that, people, be good to your woman, fellas. Women, be good to your man. Okay, love each other and do something nice for each other this weekend. Do something nice for your significant other. And they don't have to expect it. Completely unexpected. Just do something nice. That's it.
All right, gentlemen. A few words. See that stoicism always creeps back in with the men folk. But now I appreciate y'all. Y'all really have a lot of insight. And I appreciate y'all for being here. Again, next week, everybody, I may take next week off or spend more time on Twitch. I'm not sure. I'm feeling an energy shift. I don't know exactly what I'm feeling, but I feel something. Something's off. But I will be back with the YouTube stuff, and for sure in 2 weeks' time. Again, next week I just feel like I don't even know why. I don't even know why. Oh, let me gripe real quick. Everybody keep talking about get therapy. I signed up for talk therapy. My therapist canceled my last 2 sessions. I said, okay. She's like, what's your booking for the next week? Ain't got back to me. So y'all keep telling people to get therapy, but the therapy ain't getting them. You know what I'm saying? So
well, maybe your therapist has something come up. Could be a death in the family. We don't know.
That's the problem, Andrea. What if I'm in a crisis? What if I need mental health services right now? We schedule these things for a reason. And 2 weeks running, you're having something come up. How many things can come up? Why can't you have somebody else as a fallback? Why can't you get, hey, well, I want somebody to see you. These are my first 2 sessions. I would think that the first sessions were probably the most important to establish trust.
These are credibility. First two sessions?
My first 2 sessions.
Well,
Right. That's what I'm talking about. So quit telling everybody to get therapy, because sometimes therapy ain't getting them. That's all I'm saying. Okay,
it's still not a bad thing, though, Arshawn.
It's not a bad. That's all I'm saying is, I'm not saying don't get therapy. What I'm saying is, quit telling everybody to get therapy, because sometimes therapy ain't getting them. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Quit telling everybody that, because it's not that simple. It's not that simple. Problems still arise. Insurance, flaky doctors, all kinds of stuff. Anything can happen. Find therapy, like Yella said. Do it for yourself. Because if I were doing it for any other reason, the fact that she canceled would have been a problem. But because I'm actually doing it for me, I'm actually going to stick with it. Benefit of the doubt. I'm going to show up at the next session, whether she does or not. So that's the kind of thing. That's what I'm talking about. We getting ready to head up out. Let me read a conscious comment real quick. Inya, you don't want to talk to a therapist during PMS? I mean, if she can't be professional, because she on her side, you know what? That's because the therapist be needing a damn therapist. That's true too. That's the other thing I would say, not just the professionals. A lot of times we see people and we think they have it together. Like your strong friends, you know that thing? I think we also need to take the load off of other people sometimes. The people that we rely upon for whatever we rely upon them for. That person that you go to for something, next time you need that thing that you go to them for, don't. Just take the loss. Quit burdening them all the time. If that's the person you always go to for advice, give them a week off. Because the therapist needs a therapist. That's something else we need to practice, is giving people a break. If your life is out of control and you always lean on somebody, whether it's your mama, your best friend, your sister, your cousin, give them a break, y'all. Don't overtax their systems. That's all.
Well,
so who can give therapy if everyone needs therapy? We give therapy to each other. It's a circle jerk.
This my therapy right here. And my therapy right here. And then
right, see?
She ain't never canceled an appointment. She ain't never told me she couldn't make it. She always listening. She don't talk much, but she always know the right thing to say. Thank you.
See, I brought that up last night in my show about morality. Okay, you know what I'm saying, Yellow, and I was like, yeah, I said personally, I don't see anything more immoral about it. It's people smoking weed. I don't. I mean, you got cigarettes and alcohol out there, but this one actually inhibits cancer cell growth, brain cognition. It fires it up, and like so. I said, you never heard of someone getting into an accident because they were high on weed. Normally, when people smoke weed and you get behind the wheel, they focus up. They're paying attention to every little thing, the speed limit, where the cops are. Like they some of the safest drivers, But let them get drunk. Let someone get drunk and get behind that wheel. You know what I'm saying? So, but here's the thing: I want to say I'm trying to get Conscientious TV on my show next week.
Is that a new channel?
No, it's on Black Men Unfiltered. So I'm trying to get
Conscientious TV. Conscientious TV. Is that a new channel? I haven't heard of Conscientious TV. I've heard of Conscious TV.
Conscious TV.
But I haven't heard of Conscientious TV.
I got you. I'm trying to get Conscious TV on my show next week. So tune in. I'm about to give him a call now so we can iron out details. Like, what are we going to talk about?
That's what's
you know what I'm saying? And where do you want the conversation to go? Stuff like that. So I'm going to iron out some details. I'm going to do some prep work and try to do a good show next week.
That sounds great.
Yeah, I just wanted to announce that collab. Maybe we can get our logic to come in. Maybe we can get our logic to come in as special guests as well. That'd be something to have those two on my platform giving me the business, man.
Okay, stand y'all. Listen, I'm just talking about. I didn't have another good term for it. Is everybody patting themselves on the back? You know what I meant.
It is ironic though. He's right.
It is, but you know what I meant. I didn't mean a literal one because a lot of the therapists are women, which is another thing we need to talk about.
Hey, I mean, I wouldn't mind being part of that circle. Can we sign up for that one? Hey, let me go, man.
Oh God! But everybody, man, please make sure y'all check out Reckless Logic and Conscious TV. Another couple of great content creators. Of course, they love the conversation centered around like some pop culture, some current events. That they keep the conversation lively, energetic, very interesting. Conscious be bringing the intel, the Reckless Bureau, Reckless Logic be bringing the intel, got a lot of information, some receipts, a lot of juicy gossip, a lot of good stuff, but they also have deeper conversations about relationship, gender, society at large. So there's a lot of, you get a good spectrum of entertainment and information. Yeah, so I mean, they're really good content creators.
And if you want to debate them, don't come there half cocked.
Yeah, you better come correct.
You will get chewed up,
man,
bruh. They are ready. Look, our Logic and Conscious TV, they are ready,
man.
Sharp as razors, both of them.
And the chat,
they are ready, and the chat undefeated. You know, the chat's undefeated.
You gotta be ready.
But those two, they're actually impressive to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not impressed with anything. I've seen it all, done it all. I'm not impressed with anything. Those two, they're actually impressive. Like they sharp, very smart guys, man, and entertaining as hell.
Yo, that halftime. Yo, I'm gonna if outside of anything, man, go watch his halftime reaction. The reaction to the Rihanna halftime show.
Oh yeah, Conscious going in. Conscious went in, and they talked about Brandy. Man, to bring Brandy into it. Brandy ain't done nothing to you, Conscious.
If
she the vocal Bible, what is Mariah? What is Mariah, child? What is Mariah vocal? Brandy the vocal Bible. I was like, dang. Going live at 8 Eastern tonight on my bald-headed whole shit. Got you. Conscious is dope. Reckless is dope. And Reckless, I don't even know how, but his fair use disclaimer. His fair use disclaimer is funnier than most people's regular everyday content. Just Reckless, his fair use disclaimer be having me. I'm in danger, and it's hilarious though. Nah, but check them out, y'all. If y'all enjoy some good, interesting conversation, the panel conversations are great. Because they go all over the place.
And make sure you're ready.
I can react.
Don't go over there. Don't go over there half stepping. You better be locked and loaded. You go over there for a debate, bro.
It get wild, but and it's a different perspective. It's a different perspective than you hear in a lot of our spaces. So it's cool conversation. I enjoy it when I can catch it, but sometimes I be doing them 12-hour marathons and I can't hang with them.
I can't do the 12. I can't hang with 12-hour marathons. I watch for a while, but then I'm sitting here. You know,
I don't even know how y'all do it.
Yeah, let me go to sleep.
Y'all got a lot of respect, man. Y'all got a lot of respect from being able to do that, man.
There's times where I'll leave it on. I'll leave it going just so they can get the watch hours. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, other than that, I'll go to sleep on it. I'll watch for a while now, yeah. But 12-hour joints, I can't hang.
Yeah, and they be going. That's what I'm the last thing before we get up out of here. It just gets me like the 12 hours will be energetic the entire time. It don't be like 12 hours of like where 3 of the hours is like dead air and like 2 people like saying something. It'd be like continual conversation and a continual panel. I'm like, man, that's crazy. But gentlemen, I appreciate you both. Again, I keep an eye out for thumbnails for next week. I'm not sure, but I'll let y'all know. It depends on where my energy's at. Gotta tap in with them energies. And I might spend some time on Twitch. I've been neglecting Twitch, y'all. Forget you, man. Anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful day. It's come on, man. I almost forgot what show I was doing. It's come on, man. So we are up out of here. Peace.
What are we talking about? Come on, man. 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 How many push-ups you want to do here, pal? Oh, come on, man. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. What is he doing? Come on, man. Give me a little break here. But everybody knows who this guy is. Come on, man. Come on. Come on, man. Get a life.
Come on, son.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Come on, man. I mean, come on, man. Come on, man. You're making money. Come on. I mean, come on, man. Come on.
Don't do drugs. If you're doing it, stop it. Get some help.